says the video's on. Oh, let me click here. Let me click here. Oh, live. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see. Are we going live? Well, it says I'm live. Are we working? You might hear some feedback. Let me see. Oh, it might be working. Might be working. You're gonna hear me hearing myself. So you can check this first. Are we going live? It's gonna be a little glitchy. Alright, well, we're not gonna be live too long then. I just wanted to, not break tradition. If you guys can't stand the quality, let me know. It's gonna be pretty easy to end the stream. I'll just, over here and click on end stream. This is on a different computer, and I'm kind of watching it on another for chat. I was gonna have a thing put over here, but you guys are just gonna watch this because this is entertaining, right? This is what you come here for. Also my my bookmarks. But nonetheless, how you folks doing? Anybody here? Let me know in chat. If not, don't worry about it. I'm a little early. In fact, I think I'm gonna go ahead and give me a second. Just give me a second, folks. I'm gonna grab something. Might hear something here in a sec. Might not. Let's see. Oh, yeah, you guys are losing the buffer, huh? Yeah, well, like I said, this is the jerry-rigged live stream. Makeshift. Makeshift. Look at that. The mouse that I just plugged in was not, even though I used it before, it wants to reinstall the driver. Super. This is, like I said, it's the makeshift edition. Again, if you hear me, if it's a complete and total mess, also let me know. I can't quite hear it without moving other things. So, yeah, let me know. Let me know if anybody's here. And it looks like we crashed. No, it's just this computer's weak. This computer's very, very, very weak compared to what I was trying to stream on before, which was alright. Well, shit. What else can I do here? Yeah, I know. This is an issue. It might be a complete and utter waste of time. I guess I'm going to. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do here, actually. Well, I wish I could just stream audio. That would be the preference. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on. If anybody's in chat yet, yes, 2 minutes till I expect. So let's consider this warm up. Howdy, Dusk. I appreciate that. Especially if you can't understand anything. Let me know you can't understand anything. This one is rough. This one is very rough with my my other computer being as it is at the moment. Yeah. So I think I'll take a shot here in a second and see if there's anything I really want to talk about. Can you hear me? Would be a good thing. If it is too choppy, if you're getting a then just leave. Not your fault. It's probably mine. Oh yeah, see, it's wonky. It's too much for it. Oh boy. Yeah, see, I am streaming, but then oh no. Yeah, this thing's just too weak. Shoot. It's just too weak. It's worth a try, I guess. I'm not sure I could do anything else. Oh boy. Give me a break. You're probably going to get some silence, but that might be good. Let me see. Yeah, you're gonna might hear it come back. I just want to hear if it's coming through at all. Yeah, so take a 5 minutes second and see if there's anything I really want to talk about. It seems like it's working all right. I mean, all right. It doesn't seem like it's working good. Doesn't seem like it's working good. But yeah, let me mess with some OBS live. Yeah, you get to see live, fixing this stuff live. Let's see. Might even crash. That's how good it is. Well, yeah, we don't need that. This is what I want. I want mostly the audio. This, oh, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Let's knock that down at least to the 1,000. I don't care about the video. It's 100% the audio I want you guys getting. So it looks like it wants to stop there. Listen to that. Let me see. Is this the best a man can get here? No. Let's knock it up to 256. Oh, okay. Oh well, never mind. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's live, so it's got that novelty. Okay, well, I don't know if that helped. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Yeah, that's what I thought, Dusk. It's probably going to be how it is. Oh, really? Oh, that would be great. That's why I knocked down the video. I don't need the video. Let me listen to it from here, from my own end. It might go worse. Yeah. Yeah, playback. Nice, nice. So yeah, this edition. This is me figuring how to jerry rig a relatively, well, I don't want to call it boring. Maybe once I get a shot or two and people start asking questions, it'll get interesting. But yeah, we're gonna watch this, and if this will hold, I am so happy because I didn't think I'd get to do this. I will be a second again, and we'll be probably just chatting. You're gonna be hear some clicking. Gonna go ahead and promo myself with my makeshift here. Whoop. No, I want. Yeah. No. There, yeah. Oh, whoop, right there. All right, there we go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I am live. Yes, I am, and I'm also at a distance from the mic, so you guys might not hear me too well. But yeah, please ask any questions. This is an IronVerse AMA. Yeah, typing and talking isn't the easiest thing. Sorry about that. Alright, this is also a room mic. So you're going to hear burps, you're going to hear knocks, you're going to hear a lot of things. Once again, massive delay in message here. Well, I'm okay with the delay if it's making it dusk. Yeah, you know, I'm not that savvy. This is only the third time I've tried this stuff, and this is technically a first time trying to make it work with what I got here. Let me knock this down to where I was gonna. See if that helps. It might not. I don't know. Again, I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I'm attempting. The attempt might have some value. I have no clue. Again, if nobody else is here, it's just not working, then there's no reason to continue. But if you guys can actually hear me, even if it's slow and really delayed, I don't mind sticking around. I'm in no rush. There were also points I was pausing before speaking because I was typing. That could have been it. I have no idea. Say third time's the charm. This one is maybe at least working. It ain't a charm. Alright. How's everybody doing? I'm going to go ahead and pour the first. There weren't particular questions earlier. There was two I answered on Twitter before I thought of this adaptation here that I could do. So I can go back and read those. But it was really just it was thoughts on Green Lantern, which was one. Which I have some, not a ton, but I have some, and I'm a fan. I'm not a well, I guess fan would be incorrect if you want to put it right. I enjoy the property quite a lot. I'm just not terribly well read on it. Yeah, well, it's a different. Thanks for showing, Jeremy. And yeah, it's a it's a very jerry-rigged stream. Well, that's good. I'm glad you can hear me. Um, it's there's probably a delay between the messages getting here and then there's actually shooting back, and like not the usual delay. Could be quite a larger one if I'm watching it live on this, which might be the issue. Can I? That might help a lot, actually. What am I doing? The chat will still be live. I don't need to watch this. But it was good to see that it was moving. There, yeah, that's the answer. That is the answer right there, Jeremy. Yeah, I am too sober. I just poured the one, and I was talking about your Green Lantern question, actually. This is actually a double. I guess I'm taking a double. And that is two. All right. One more time, I'm going to ask you guys can still hear me, and then I'm going to drop it, and then you guys just let me know if it's shitty and not up, and if you guys are even still watching. Otherwise, I might yap away and record something that's real shitty for a audience of one, which is fun, but not great. Um, yeah. Dusk, Jeremy, any questions? Thanks for showing up for one, and for two, if you got them, shoot them out. I guess I can start with an update on where IronVerse Comics is at the moment. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you, Jeremy. There's going to be a delay, I guess. I don't mind you folks leaving for that. I'll just ramble for a little bit about IronVerse Comics, do my normal plug, talk about where we're at, and we can go from there. Dusk just sent a question, so that'll give you guys kind of a time of when I got it to when you're hearing it, and then you kind of know when you sent it, Dusk. Yeah, it's a low processor computer I got this rigged on, but if it's working at all, I'm happy. Whoo boy, way delayed. Yeah, okay. Well, no, I see your messages. It's me shooting back the answer, getting to you. That's probably being real delayed. Again, this processor's slow, so it's probably taking a while to process what I'm saying and then shoot it back. So, if it's again not worth your time, I don't blame you taking off either. Yeah, I'm just gonna get some data down on the YouTube, and I might end up even deleting this if it's that bad. But I'm gonna try it. I'm trying to make it a weekly thing. So far, I haven't missed a week, so. This was one way to try it. It's the makeshift delayed one. If you guys can figure out a way to play with that delay to mess with me, you're welcome to, or what have you. Okay, so issue number 2, Jack Iron, Steel Cowboy, done. Art, lettering, the writing, the edits, everything's done on that end. The second end is putting in concepts, putting in the pinups, and printing and shipping. We're working on that. I'll probably have more to say about that tomorrow at the Wicked live stream, Wicked Weekend live stream. Oh wow, it's a 2-minute delay. Woo! 2-minute delay. Woo boy. That's a heck of a delay. It's 2 minutes. Well, I mean, if you're patient, that might be worth your time. But yeah, okay. So issue number 2 is ready. I've read it a bunch of times, edited. I am unbelievably ecstatic to get it out to folks and finally get that part behind me and see what new avenues it opens. Catch the Coyote's been out for a while. We got about 300 views on the manga. I'm pretty excited about that. It was pretty quick. We actually got our first tip on Tapas too. It was 4 whole cents, but getting some money. That was cool. Also, the reaction has been interesting. I'm curious for more people to read it. Well, my video matters very little at the moment, Dusk. On my other streams, I'd have at least some fan art or something in the background here. There's not too much orthodox in doing this, I don't think. So, at least put up a Jack Irons themed picture is my thinking. Get it at least, at least somehow, somewhat, where it needs to be. Fuck, I don't know. Long day, long day. You successfully sent it 2 minutes into the future, Jeremy. You certainly did. That's funny too, because I think it gets to me at the time you send it, but my response is what's being sent 2 minutes into the future. Well done, though. Well done. You certainly did. Yeah, you guys. Thanks to IronVerse Comics platform, I'm now giving you guys the ability to leverage your wordsmithery into time travel. So breaking new ground. Talking about glass ceilings. What about the glass ceiling of time? Everybody deals with that one. Anywho, I wanted to do that. It looks like this comp isn't set up for it very well. That kind of sucks. It doesn't look like my bookmarks are either. Oh, haha! I can do that. Mwahahahaha. There's a way to get something going. There's some topics to talk about too. The news they want to feed me. But yeah, I'll just leave it here. Hopefully, it won't play that audio. That is, I just don't know how that would affect this. So let me just go down. This is the free black and white issue, first issue of Jack Irons, the Steel Cowboy. Everybody's welcome to read. I think I'll just can't show the whole thing like that, so I'll just leave it like that. Center Jack's handsome mug. That's our original cover. Probably more familiar with the cover for the Public and Indiegogo release of Jack. Both are really great. Both are by a extremely talented line artist on the Steel Cowboy, and hoo boy, I am happy to have him on team. Jack 2. There's not too much more to say. I still got to wrangle everything to get it to backers, but we're getting there. We're done. Everything's paid for, and the book is complete up to the extras. Getting the extras together is going to be fun. Concept art I didn't include in issue 1. I'll include in this one, which is some fun stuff. I'm going to include my silly piece. That's my first Jack Irons piece in the back of 2. The thing that really inspired Maxie's design. Then I'll also include Maxie's design off of that, and I'm also thinking of doing a short little write up on the whole experience of getting 1 and 2 out, and including that in issue 2. It's been a hell of a thing, and if anybody who bought the book's interested, I'm sure I can deliver some fun writing. Besides that, there was a question from Dusk. Dusk asked, had I ever heard of Grim Tales from Down Below? No, Dusk. No, I have not. Should I look it up? Is it worth looking at? You let me know. Let me know in 2 minutes when this freaking gets to you. Pause that because that'll be picked up. But good. I know that at least that's getting there. Oh boy, the makeshift part of this makes it fun, but it's very nerve-wracking. Oh, thank you, Dusk. Dusk says I always like the fusion of classic Western wanted posters with a digital sci-fi version. Sort of encapsulate the whole weird Western aspect. Yeah, exactly, and it kind of shows. If you look on his left side and his right side, they very much look the same, and that was also supposed to be implied that he didn't age. Um, that was the original concept. That was my concept for the cover. The other covers for issue 1 and 2. Issue 2, I spoiled the cover very uncharacteristically on a live stream. Last week's 4 hour draw. You get to see Steel Cowboy 2's cover. It's gorgeous. It's wonderful. But both the covers on the versions that are seen print were completely conceptualized by Maxie, by our artist. I didn't have any input. This one will have always have a strong strong place in my heart because it's the first one. Um, I think I'm going to continue to use it as the image on the back of the issues, just because it's awesome. So it'll live on for quite some time. I hope. Kind of our oh god, what are those called? They include the price, the name of the company and stuff. It's like the letterbox or some kind of box. I forgot what that's called. That on the top of like Marvel or Alterna. But yeah, yeah, some fun stuff. Very happy to continue working on this. In fact, issue 3, I just sent the final script to Maxie, so we'll see how that goes. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. Cactus Coyote, the manga, is a tease for a campaign that's coming up pretty soon to do the Western version of Cactus Coyote. Let me switch to Cactus. If you guys haven't read this, please do. It's free. There's no reason not to, except for 2 double-page spreads that could not be mounted correctly thanks to the website's architecture and how you upload things. Okay, I'm gonna click on it again. I'll pitch Cactus Coyote. People are kind of familiar with Jack, Mortal Cowboy, History of Past Lives. Cactus Coyote is a shape-shifting alien that was fought with by one of the 4 main problems in IronVerse comic. One of the 4 main driving factors and enemies. They're called the 4 Horrors. Most people know them as like the 4 Horsemen visually. That's how they manifested on Earth in Jack's book. But yeah, Cactus Coyote. It's a little bit more wacky, but that's because it is a weird Western. Jack emphasizes the Western part of IronVerse Comics. Cactus emphasizes the weird part of IronVerse Comics. And I'm proud to have worked and been able to develop this little 40-page manga for free for folks. The heck of a thing. I don't even mind going through it because of that. Sorry, I just read your comment, Jeremy. About 2 minutes ago. No worries. The fact that you're still here is kind of. I appreciate that. I have less fortitude than you do, Jeremy. I don't know if I could have stuck with me this long. If I wasn't stuck with me this long. If I had a choice. Okay, yeah, the main setting, one of the main hubs. So in Jack's universe, or in Jack's part of the Ironverse, excuse me, it mainly will function around Earth, obviously the planet, but also even more so New Deadwood, the New Deadwood Reservation. It's humanity's last little foothold, propped up by a corrupt, gnarly galactic government who's kind of just using it as a, hey, look, we saved a species. We're still doing good for the galaxy. But really, they couldn't care less. They just have to keep it together and not destroyed. That's as much attention as they're giving it and making sure nobody can leave or come. Cactus, his main hub is called Spinaroonie Town. It's a galactic hub of smugglers, thieves, miscreants, outlaws of all kinds, but it's mainly like the new. It's the Las Vegas, but even more so, I was going to say the new Vegas of outer space. It's where everybody comes to make their fortune or lose it. It's one of the few places in the galaxy that aren't beholden to either one of the Four Horsemen or the Anu Confederacy, which is that fascist government state. Um, and yeah, we follow this guy trying to figure himself out and deal with his own issues in a kind of a more wacky way. I respect. Thanks, Dusk, for telling me. It's a comic series that's by Bleed Man. I'm not aware of Bleed Man, who loves doing this thing where it's a crossover event of so many cartoons. And it stars oh! I kind of thought that when you were saying that the Grim. Okay, cool. That's really neat. I'll have to look that up, Duskquill. The Grim Tales, and it follows the children, kind of the children, or legitimately the children of Billy and Mandy. That's a trip. Okay. If anybody's still here too, let me know when you get this and if the audio quality's still alright. The lag is eternal. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do anything about the lag, but the audio quality I'd like to know. If it's recorded, I'm happy. If it's kind of junky, it's not. I'm gonna scroll through Cactus. It's free, so it kind of shows you. You can read it as I'm scrolling through. You might not. I'm gonna try and comment a little bit here and there. That is Rad Cat. You'll learn more about her. Real interesting character. There's one of the entrances. There's some of our aliens, and there's Cactus himself. I've seen some of the Western art for the Western adaptation of Cactus Coyote. I'm really excited for it. I think you guys really enjoy the different spin. Though I love this spin a lot. I think there's a lot of personality here in Dollar Coin's art and what he was going for. My lettering job, it's a lettering job. It's done. It's on the page. There's much more to learn. This was actually me lettering into his bubbles. We had tried me doing just the bubbles with a first release that was out on Patreon. It was all right, but yeah, this is better. I think it's at least readable. I think most everybody's ducked out by now, which is fine. This is the issue. This was the giant awesome double page spreads Dollar did. They could not be put sideways. I would have had to cut them in half and then you fall one to the other. I think at least this way you get the gist of what we're doing. If you guys actually want to read this thing HD at your own pace, DRM free, and you'll find it there. Just a free download. You can read the whole damn thing at your leisure on whatever you want. That's capable of reading the version we give you. So it went. Alright, Dusk. So it went adult. Grim can't make kids, so Mandy has sex with powerful men when the two decide to have kids. The first one, Grim Jr., when he's all bones, he goes, Okay. So is this legit with the IPs, Dusk, or is it like a parody? Because I'm interested either way. Like you said, it sounds like a trip. But yeah, a lot of gambling debts. We start off there. I don't want to spoil exactly the whole thing. It's just giving me something to talk about. Oh, I guess because you use the term slum, Dusk, I get to review your comment, huh? It's fine. Yeah, I like the idea of... It's like Deep Space Nine if it was only Ferengi Run. would be Spitteroonie Town. That would be a good way to describe it. If it was, it's basically that. But yeah, Cactus, as a shapeshifter, he has a lot of abilities. He also has a pocket dimension in his stomach, swallowing things far beyond his own size. He requires some special things to keep that going, but all of it's introduced. even in this first manga, actually, a lot of the introduced. This also has a little bit more cheesecake than than Jack does. Jack's more about philosophy, cactuses. You know, I'm gonna have fun with the existence I'm given in this hell universe. Um, let's see. I had a lot of fun with this, and I really do like the art. Like that just that little chunk there to the right on this page, right here is so cool. It was a lot of fun. Get our kanji, and you do read this like a manga, guys. So right to left, you know. Hopefully that's obvious, but you never know. Yeah, it looks like I might be cutting this one short. I think we're on to another shot. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here on the first appearance of Lieutenant Lucky Eye Catch. It's a great introduction. I'm going to pour myself another shot. And, yeah, Dusk, you're 100% correct with what Spinneroni is. That's exactly what it is. It's like if the bar in the original Star Wars was the cantina was an entire. It's not quite a planetoid. I'll use planetoid. It's not quite a planetoid either, but close. Oh, it's a fan. It's a fan thing. Okay, okay. I got you, Dustquill. Uh, Spawn for some reason. Nightmare Before Christmas. Huh. Well, that does sound really interesting, Dusk. If nothing else, this live stream might have been worth just learning about that. That's a trip. There's not a franchise that you listed there that I'm not a fan of. So that could be a lot of fun. Could be a hell of a lot of fun. I'll have to check it out. Let's see, get any questions anywhere else? Oh, I did. I got another question. Right on. David Schmeling on Twitter asks, what caused Jack to emerge as a character and what inspired the world around him ultimately? You have so much character just from a visual standpoint. Did he develop for a longer time before he got into a comic? Well, yes, I guess, David. He did an incredible fan art of Jack with one of his characters. It's a sword and sorcery, but with my cowboy in that. It's very cool. I hope he finishes it someday. I believe he's in Germany, but I could be incorrect. So what caused? What made me create him, and what inspired the world? I get that. You know, most creators will get that, especially if their world's got any kind of interest to it. I'm hoping a lot of the influences are evident, and that's kind of part of what IronVerse Comics is. It's paying forward what was given to us as kids, and trying to keep that tradition alive, and some of those messages and iconography and fun, just keeping that alive and going. A lot of IronVerse Comics is that. A lot of it was his concept. The overall bit was I turned a question that I was dealing with growing up into a character, really, and then I just kept that character in the back of my mind until I could make something happen with it. The comic, the scripts were written back in like '08, but the comic itself didn't manifest till 2015 or so, when I found Maxie and we kind of worked out some stuff, and a lot of other stuff in my life allowed it to happen. A lot with kind of similar to what happened with me getting this far from promotion and stuff this last year is my life made the path for me and I took it, so I lucked out, but it hadn't been easy. But Jack's a lot of that. I'll also probably have to answer this on Twitter. I'm not sure he asked it on that. It might just be a happy coincidence. From a visual standpoint, I'm hoping that's kind of there too. He supposed to kind of look like a rough and tumble Mad Max Clint Eastwood you know, Dark Tower kind of thing. I'm still not too familiar with the Dark Tower. I bought the book series and I've started the Gunslinger, and it's a hard read. And apparently, number 2 is where it really starts, which is kind of funny. That's kind of how Jack does. But so I got to get there, and I'm a stickler from starting from the start. So I haven't been willing to skip over to the second book to get it going. So one day I'll sit down with that. I've just got too many comics to catch up on. I'm not trying to write prose. I'm not trying to write books. So I find it more easily justified to tear through a bunch of comics I've been meaning to read than it is tearing through a novel. But the Dark Tower obviously resonates with a lot of people, and I don't want to ignore any coincidences, any likenesses, because that's just an honor if people recognize that. I'm stoked with that. Certainly not intentional. Um, and did he develop for a long time? Yeah, basically. He was kicking around in my head for years before he actually showed up as a comic. Nice. Dusk linked that thing. Page first one is out of place and so show up until oh, look at that. Yeah, so make sure to read the comics before the comments before you jump to Dusquill's link there. In fact, let me do something for you, Dusk. You, sir, are my second mod. Thank you, Dusk. You don't have to mod, but you now have the power. You're welcome to if you'd like. A WE mod. Yes. So I think that answered David's question. I recommend checking out his art. He does some really amazing pieces. At BroLonks on Twitter, David Schmeling. He did ask on this, so but he might not see this, so I might still just reply on Twitter later. So, let's see, I got some alerts up here. Nice. Yeah. Well, I've been going 36 minutes with this crud connection. I have 3 or 4 shots, depending on how you're measuring them, in me. Unless somebody else is watching, which Dusk, you're welcome to ask more questions, of course. I'm not counting you out, brother, but I might need something to vent on, to talk about. If I'm to keep going, I just wanted to make sure. Again, I just wanted to make sure I did this. I gotta make sure I can keep doing it. The issue on my other computer, I gotta reinstall Windows again. I gotta go buy a new disk to do it. So I haven't gotten to it, but I will soon. I remembered I had this laptop and it had everything kind of up on it, and so if OBS worked on it, I would try. Seems it quote unquote works on it, kinda. Right on, Dusk. You are definitely duly deputized and have full authority on the jackboot until you misuse it. Then you get the jackboot. Let's see. Yeah, see, there's just a charm. There's a charm to Dollar Coin's art. I don't know. It's something I know the IronVerse needs. We need a little bit of this cutesy, but still heavy stuff. And that's probably the best joke of the whole book. And actually, this page right here, he sent me the original. So I actually have the original inked page of this. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. Right now, I just have it hanging up. But yeah. Making comics is a hell of a lot of fun. I'm blessed I'm able to. So far, I guess I could say I've done 2 comics in a 40-page. Been on teams involved doing that and organized them at least. So that's a hell of a thing for me to be able to say it. I'm a little proud to be able to say it. I fucking love this panel too. The little bug getting blown away by Cactus just hauling ass with the nuclear reactor he swallowed being rigged into the ship. Oh, it's a great introductory issue, and I hope the Western catches more eyes. But right now, the Marvel I'm be happy with, and super glad to promote. I love Cactus Coyote. I'm really excited for other IronVerse titles as well, with the third hopefully coming out attached to Jack number 3. But see what the future holds. Again, thank you, Dusk. You always end up in a mod position. Well, that's because, you do it well. So I appreciate it. Not 100% sure. Oh! That's a great question, Dusk, and quite relevant, too. So Dusk asks, so why y'all thought Coyote, with the K, which works, would do better as a manga? Because of the wacky nature of manga and this character? No, it was used as an excuse for the quality. Dollar Coins very much insisted on that. We actually started off as saying that it was Western and drawing it Western, but he's more of a mangaka. He's always been more of a mangaka. And so it was kind of natural to do it this way. It gives us more leeway on the page quality, allows us to keep it black and white, allows my lettering to come off more as a fan dub than professional lettering. There's a lot of benefits to calling this a Western manga. There's a lot of just optic benefits, let alone being able to get it done. So that's a lot of it. He likes using his makeshift kanji, or hiragame, I think he called them. I like them too. Kind of gives it that alien feel. But again, it was mainly to compensate for the quality we knew we'd be putting out. Free or not, you have to set the expectations correctly for your audience. Cactus Coyote is very much a first manga from a very passionate team, but it's very much a first manga. I hope that kind of answers it for you, Dusk. And that was a good question. Thank you, man. Thank you. That was a very good one. Pouring another shot off of that good question. Almost finished with this Finlandia vodka. Almost finished with this Finnish vodka. So I think I'm gonna maybe shoot for doing that tonight. I don't know if I'll do it on stream if I can't talk long enough. I'm not sure how much quality content I can provide, especially with the delay. Is what it is. Yes. So yeah, Cactus Coyote, please check it out. The URL's right here. Just give it a look, give it a glance. If it's any kind of interest, maybe consider signing up for Tapas and subscribing. At least tells us we're doing it right. But the views matter for us too. The donations are great too if you end up digging Tapas for your webcomics. But you can also go to our Patreon and get a DRM free copy of it and read it at your leisure. At the aspect ratio and at the definition it was created. This is also quite a lower res than what it actually is. It works, but again, you take what you can get. Yeah. Well, then the comment hit me. So fair enough, I suppose. And as Brian, yeah. Again, yeah. A lot of it was because of quality. Dusk. It set the reader's expectations at a better place than following up Jack. That was kind of the thinking too. Is if we try to follow up Jack with this as our next comic, people might wonder what we're really trying. Whereas if this is a manga and we present it as free and we market it as we've been doing it, I think that's the proper way to add a character to IronVerse comics and to really show what we can do with him at the moment. Though we are working on taking the next step with this guy, and we'll see how that comes. I've seen page 1 fully inked, and it is amazing. So I'm hoping we'll see the rest of the book as just as amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and take another shot. It might be quiet, or you might hear some coughing or some. Deal with it. You're dealing with the rest of the stream, right? So I appreciate that, and this is what reality kind of sounds like. No glamour to it, but getting the job done, and I appreciate anybody listening. I believe it might just be you, Dusk. So Thank you for chilling. I really do appreciate it. I'll go ahead and re-promo this to see if I can get anybody to, come say hi. But if they don't want to, again, I just wanted to make sure I did it. If I give up on it, then it will not happen, and I will lose a beneficial platform. Alrighty, shot away. Yep, that's that. Um, so, let me see what time it is. Let me see. Let's see if I can make it another 15. That would be the goal. That would be the goal. So more questions would be great. But if there aren't any Dusk, which is fine, or anybody else who shows up, then I can vent about a movie I watched last night that I really enjoyed, and I enjoy every time that I wish was better liked, and which gets maligned more than it needs to be for what it is. So yeah, I think I might just do that because there's a 2 minute delay when I ask that, so I'd have to wait 2 damn minutes. And what is it? Yeah, it's 7:46. I won't wait 2 minutes. It'll be 7:48 by then. Going back over here just to check what's going on. I think everything's working. Got about 45 minutes down, so at least I was able to get on here. Alright, well. Good to hear, Dusk. Thank you. It will be better. I've got to reinstall Windows, and I have to make sure it installs properly so it will update properly, because my desktop will not accept Windows 10 because it's too well, it'll accept it, but the drivers and the parts within it, particularly the audio driver, just is wonky as shit on Windows 10, and it's just not supported. So that's been my adventure this week, was fixing a 7, upgrading to 10 to see if that would work, and then downgrading back to 7. And I've got a functional 7 on the desktop I usually use, but it ain't updating properly, so I got to reinstall Windows again. And I think my installation disk is just a little corrupted, so it's installing corrupted files, so I got to reinstall it. But I can do that this week, and hopefully next Friday I'll have the old bad setup, not this new worse bad setup. If you have 4 hours to kill, I did a very long, very in-depth live stream last week. Same topic. Also, Spoils issue number 2's cover. People feel free to go check that one out. It's going to be better than this one, but again, I'm just happy I did this one. And I appreciate you for showing up, Dusk. Crossovers in mind for Jack or Coyote in the near future. I already know about the Revengers and Trump Space Force, but got any new stuff up your sleeves? Yes. And that's the answer you're going to get. No. Nothing with Cactus except IronVerse related has been kicked around. We'd have to talk to Dollar Coins about that. It is a large part up to him. But also, yeah, I've spoken to at least one bigger indie creator who actually really does want a crossover. I had heard some things today about their what do you call launch release. Their first title that even with names attached to it, and I'm talking pro names attached to it, it's not as good as it should be. So that gave me pause on it, but that doesn't mean a no. Especially if I'm involved, I might be able to improve that quality and fix any holes that they had there. Not being arrogant, because it doesn't make any damn sense to me why a book with those people on it would not be a decent read, but it happens. Um, I liked his cameo in Trump Space Force. That was a hell of a gift. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Brett R. Smith, for coloring him. He even got a recolor. Somebody specifically told Brett to recolor him, or Brett thought to recolor him for the print. Because I have a preview of when Timothy, Mr. Lim, first showed me the panel that he was going to put in there, and the colors are different. And he's the only person on Trump Space Force with a steel band instead of a yellow one, and that's really cool. Just conceptually, I really appreciate whoever thought to do that. That was so cool. The Revengers stuff is easy. There's characters already being worked on for that. I've written a 13-page script that could actually just be put out by itself if the team members wanted to. That involve Regina from Rag's fame and Jack. I really like it. It's a short that takes place in Earth 121 of Wanpool fame. That's kind of where the Revengers chill, so that's why. But so there's those. I really appreciate those, like you mentioned. Otherwise, though, the thing with Jack, at least as at first, I want to get his first arc out before I go too hard on any crossovers, just because his personality is barely starting to get defined in issue 2. And issue 3 will help a little bit. Most of the crossovers I'm planning are very much within IronVerse comics. Outside of it, like you said, that was fun. That was so cool. That Timothy Lim was willing to do that. Also that there's a lot of there's so much creative energy in the indie community. A lot of stuff's getting proposed. I don't know how much is going to get done. But Jack is open. I personally would be open to almost any good crossover. You're really gonna have to pitch something good to me for it, but I'm open for it. And vice versa. If I had something in mind, I'd really want a good pitch. I believe I've been asked this question maybe even last week on who I would cross over with Jack. I believe I answered last week Hellblazer. I chose John Constantine. Just it would be more of a philosophical exploration piece, and John would be trying to figure out what the fuck Jack is, and by the end of it, neither of them would know what the fuck Jack is. That would be the mainstream crossover I'd want to do, or Jonah Hex or something. But then it's just like Hex squared. No real reason to do it. There are more creative people than me in the world to figure out better Jack crossovers, and if they can propose them to me, please do. That's kind of where I'll leave that. Let me go to your second bit here, Dusk. If not crossovers, what do you plan on doing more IronVerse stories, and will you let other teams work on those, or are you still keeping it all to yourself? Mix of both. So, crossovers, again, I'm saying is kind of, but we'll see what moves faster, and what's actually gonna, who really has the cojones and the spirit to pull it, to make it actually happen, to pull it off. But yeah, that's where that's gonna be. But in terms of future IronVerse stories, so Cactus Coyotes are second, this manga. Issue 2 of Jack should be coming out here really soon. So we'll have three stories under IronVerse at that point. After that, we're going to be crowdfunding Cactus Coyotes manga, or Western adaptation of the manga. Say that's successful, we'll then have four titles under IronVerse. Or 4 stories, I guess, under IronVerse that are... It's not even stories, because I've also written a short story for Ashcan Publishing. Two short stories for Ashcan Publishing, which got published, that are also take place in the IronVerse universe. So technically we've got 5 at the moment. So Cactus Coyote, the Western manga, would be the next after Jack 2. that you can look for, the Western adaptation. Then Jack 3 and Tracker Top Predator would be the next to look forward to. I'd be funding Jack 3 and as a stretch goal, an 8-page mini between myself, Vincent Rush, and possibly we're in talks about a colorist that we both enjoy. Um, so that's the next one that's got the most energy behind it. We have layouts for that script already. Of course, I have the script done. The script's been done for a while, but we have layouts for that mini. In fact, the other IronVerse titles are all going to be introduced as minis. Unless somehow some crazy something happens and I have the money to to afford full-blown comics. But we're going to plan for minis that'll be put in the back of main IronVerse titles until they can get a footing. But all new seas. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to learn as I'm going. Tracker Top Predator is the one to look forward to next. A equally immortal Native American survives through all the horrors that Jack did. He does not have the memories Jack does. He has one goal: to be the top predator of the entire universe. And that's kind of his pitch. He'll be killing kaiju. He'll be killing demons, ghosts, extra-dimensional horrors, planetary beasts, all kinds of killer things, with a really neat kind of set of hooks for his imagery and for how he deals with things as we go. Issue number 3 of Jack is heavily Tracker involved, so you'll learn more about him issue 3. He's introduced at the end of issue 2, so you guys can look forward to that really soon. But issue 3 is Tracker Top Predator. After that, we have plans for Lady Silverado with Carl Oro of Deathsworn fame attached for art. We'll see where that goes. Again, the script is written and sitting with him. We'll figure out how to go from there. And there's another title I wrote, both an 8-page mini, which is the introductional mini, and an issue number 1. He was the second title I wrote for IronVerse Comics, in fact, The Golden Monk. The artist I originally attached to that has been relatively quiet recently, so I'm unsure the dedication there. But once I figure that out, we'll move forward with that as well. There's 5 titles in the works. Jack's the furthest, Cactus is the second, and Tracker's right there behind him. And we'll see how far we can take this little engine that could. In terms of keeping it all to myself, I believe I've stated my goal with Jack quite a few times, is that I want his past to be opened up to infinite writers. Whatever kind of story you want, you can make it within the IronVerse. I'm totally fine with that. Particularly through Jack's lens and through Jack's alternate historical lens. So you can kind of play with history too, which is nice, I find, for writers. And I'd be fine with that if somebody could come to me with a story and maybe an art team that could do it. I'd be 100% behind it. But in terms of looking for that, I haven't been there yet, simply because we're not at a point where I can will comics into existence. Will the funds to make them happen. Cactus Coyote's campaign and then Jack Irons number 3's campaign are really going to see if IronVerse Comics can actually exist in this world, or if it's a sweet little blip in comic history. We'll definitely see with those 2 campaigns, because without support or funding, this is going nowhere. I could put money into it myself as I work, which I've been doing, and I probably will continue to do. But if you have to do that, then your IP may not have the legs it needs to really run, and you have to be able to run like crazy in this world to exist as a mainstream IP or even a money making IP. Hopefully next month. I don't see why not next month. We should start our shipping on Jack Irons number 2, and be catching up on the internationals for number one. And at that point, or at least after that point, after we see a large amount of them are getting grabbed, we'll make it public, and from there we'll see. I'm really excited for the reviews for issue 2. I think it's so much better than number 1, but and I thought number 1 was really good. The whole team thinks the same, but just because you have your biased opinion of making something doesn't mean that biased opinion is truth. So I really want to know what people think of our second issue. And Dusk, if you're super interested in reading it, I could maybe hook you up with that. I believe you're a backer too, so that would be really not a problem. But just DM me on it if you're interested. I am actually interested in more reading, more opinions on it, because I haven't gotten as many as I'd like. But again, I'm also, it will happen when it goes out to backers. So just more waiting, and that's totally fine. Your next chapter for Voice of Reason. I am ashamed, but also drunk enough to admit I do not remember what you're referring to by Voice of Reason. I know you've written a nice a fanfic that includes your character there. So if that's what you're talking about, then hell yeah, I'm looking forward to that, brother. I can't wait to see it. Alrighty, so I've got probably 4 more shots of Finlandia left in this thing. I usually take doubles, so it's probably just going to be 2. I'm going to do 1 more, and then I'll probably call the stream. I think we're probably about there, yeah? No, we are there. In fact, I think I'll call the stream. I would keep going, but it doesn't seem like very many people are here. I appreciate you, Dusk. I really do. That was very cool of you to stick around with this crud quality and give me some topics to talk about. I could talk about that movie, but we just hit 8. I might as well end this one. I really hope in the future I can do the better quality again. I'm hoping I can be my own IT team as I usually am and actually get this functioning. But we'll see. I got a week, so hopefully I can do that within a week, even with work. It is the 24th, huh? So actually a week from today, I start ballooning again. So I'll be back to 2 jobs, and that'll be sucking up my time. But I should be able to still do the Friday live streams and be as active as Twitter as I usually am. If you folks need to get a hold of me, Twitter is the best place. At cowboy_steel. You may not be able to find it through the Twitter application itself. I believe I am shadow banned for either wrong think or following people who have wrong think. So if you can, search on Google. I believe you're more likely to find me there. And then just enter that page through Google so that Twitter doesn't get its little hands in front of your eyes. Because I believe we have a lot to offer, and I myself am very non-controversial, so it's got to be things people I follow or something that have me search banned. But anywho, follow me there at cowboy_steel. You can also check out our Patreon, IronVerse Comics or Jack Irons of Steel Cowboy Patreon. Either of those searches in Google will probably bring you to the right place. There you'll get access to everything we do as soon as I do it and as often as I can update. I'm looking forward to doing more stuff. These live streams are a start of it. I really wanted to get these started, whatever quality I could do them, just so that there's some form of community engagement. If anybody on Patreon or on Twitter has an extreme question, I can answer it through voice and then link them there. That matters a lot to me, the personal touch. There's honestly no other way to do business correctly, at least from a small business standpoint anymore. So unless you're really lucky and can find some giant pathway, something that's going to lift you up for you instead of you yourself building yourself up, then yeah, you have to really respect and reach your audience. Well, let me go ahead. There's a couple comments from Dusk there. I'm happy to talk about. Anybody who listens to this later, if you show up for later ones, be a little bit more bumping. I'd certainly appreciate it. But I appreciate everybody who shows up. Merc, Mercenary does gaming, I believe, on Twitter or something like that. He pulled my butt out of the fire a couple weeks back with these. They're quiet, but the little bit of interaction makes all the difference, and so I appreciate it. Dusk says, yeah, that's the fanfic. Right on. I was very correct. Voice of Reason is the fanfic. Right on. If you keep it up, make sure later on you get both chapters to me. And if I ever get enough of a platform, you never know what spin-offs could be done, Dusk. I appreciate it, Dusk, again. Even though you have nothing else much to do, that's, it gives me something to bounce off of, and I really appreciate that. Main reason I drink while doing these is because I'm quite an introvert, so I need external stimuli to play off of, or I spend a lot of time endlessly thinking, and that doesn't get shit done. And I want to get shit done. Well, defining Jack as the reason is a hell of a humbling thing for me to hear. I believe it's more of an inspiration than a reason, maybe. Because Jack is the reason I'm here. But that doesn't mean, I appreciate the weight and the gravitas that implies, and thank you for that. I'm glad Jack can resonate with people to that level. I never really expected it to, but I certainly wanted it to. Certainly wanted it to. There's very few other things I wanted more, honestly. Jack's quite a hell of a dream for me. If I can get this first arc done, I can spend the rest of my life just doing the other jobs I do and be happy. I'd be more happy if I get to put out more. I'd be even more ecstatic if IronVerse Comics as a studio could take off and actually get multiple titles published, hopefully by multiple publishers. If our studio could be a bridge between the comic industry that's really sorely needed, particularly the indie industry. There's so many indie publishers. It's just stupid, and we can't keep up with Marvel and DC as divided as we are. So there's got to be something that can bring us together and get us leveraging our combined resources to actually say, no, the comics industry matters. People can read these things and enjoy them, like all of our creators and writers and artists have before them. These things matter to people, and we shouldn't be forcing it to die. We shouldn't be trying to force an idea above a very respected, very powerful, very important medium. That's But who knows? Different thoughts, different people these days. That's for sure. I would, Dusk. I certainly would. I haven't gotten to the point where I could host multiple people on a live stream. I hope you guys heard that. That was an adorable cat sneeze. Thank you, Midnight. We needed a cat sneeze. But I'm totally up for that. I would love to get to the point where I can host other creators, because I believe that is what will actually draw an audience. Simply IronVerse Comics, I've been able to get 30 or so views on a video, and that's actually impressive for what I thought I could do. I didn't think anybody would give two shits, especially with my quality. But that's where I'd like to get. I have anybody who's been following me for a long time. I've been on a lot of other people's live streams, and especially when I was beginning. I'm a quiet guy. I'm a guy who will let somebody talk till they're finished before they speak. And that does not work well on most live streams unless it's your house. And that's the thing. If it's my house, I can make it to a point where I'm comfortable and I feel everybody gets their say, and the topics are managed and the cats are wrangled. Otherwise, people like those random shows. I've enjoyed them. I love being part of them, especially when I started out. That was a hell of a thing, being on a live stream with like 10 other creators. And just, there's a lot of fun there. I just don't know if a lot gets done there. And that would be the thing. I would like something direct. We're talking about this project, or we're talking about this particular part of working in the industry. That's where I'd like to get. At the moment, I'm lucky if I can get this live stream done on a Friday. So once every Friday. So we'll see if I can get past that. I'd like to do videos. I like to do comic reviews. I'd like to do a lot. I don't know if my personality is as addictive enough to actually make a profit out of it. But adding content to IronVerse Comics repertoire should never be a problem. So I'm going to do my best to at least continue adding to it. Yeah, no, it wasn't a squeak. No, sir. That was a cat sneeze, sir. That was my old kitty cat, Midnight. That was her sneezing, and now she's left. Had to go blow her nose or powder it or something. I don't know, cats, Oh, boy, let's see. We're probably partway through another 20 till I make the half-hour mark, and another 50 till I make the hour mark. I would do either, but I need stuff to talk about. I've covered most things. I'm really excited for Jack #2, unbelievably excited, and I'm a little worried too, but not on the quality. I'm just worried the quality will. What's the phrasing? I'm worried that it will go unnoticed. I guess is where it is. With Jack 1's campaign, Jack 1 and 2 is what it was. It was the right timing and the right place. I don't know if out of that, with issue 1 and 2, we've been able to carve a solid footing that will allow us to continue stepping forward. That's the terrifying bit. And I can't know till that issue's out and until we try. So that's something you just got to stick with till then. I have great faith in the quality that the Jack Irons team put out in this issue. It was very hard finding a replacement colorist from Matthias Laborde. He did such an incredible job with issue 1. Luckily, we have something that people really noticed between issue 1 and issue 2 that really helped us out since we needed a new colorist, but also might make readers feel a little like, that's odd that changed. I'm hoping it's really. I'm hoping people don't give a shit. I'm hoping they notice how fucking good it is. But the art style, Maxie's art style between issue 1 and issue 2 has changed dramatically, to the point I've actually been asked if it's a different artist. It's not a different artist. It's 5 years of growth from a very young artist. Maxie and I were in our early 20s. I believe he was 21 and I was 22 when we started getting the actual art for Jack #1 done. We ain't that anymore. I'm 27 and he's 25. He spent a lot more time working, so his art has changed. He's a young man and it's changed. I believe there are things in issue 1 I like better. There's a stylistic bit to it I like. I don't know if I want to say better. I like it different than I like issue number 2. Issue number 2 is more stylistic, I want to say. It's more recognizable as Jack Irons' style or as Maxie's style, and I really appreciate that. He's really changed how he's rendered anatomy. That's a big one people will notice right away. I don't know if it's drastic, but it has changed. It's shifted. It won't matter. This issue is so gorgeous. It's such a pretty issue. The art end 100% held up. I don't know if my writing did. I've heard good things, but you don't believe them until it's a consistency. So I need more people to read issue 2 before I know if I held up or not. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I want to know if our talent's worth continuing and worth all the effort. I believe their talent is. I just want to know if mine is. And we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Dusk. That's a great question. Thank you. Man, you're keeping this up just like Merc. Thank you so much, Dusk. Um, how much of a big deal are the Four Horsemen going to be for the story of Jack in the future? They are everything. Our last live stream that I did last Friday really dove into it. I even dove into our compendium, which is our collection of hard rules for the IronVerse and things that we introduce and what they are, so that any writer diving into the IronVerse kind of knows what's going on and what we have established already, so you're not starting from a blank slate and start fucking with shit. But the four horrors are the crux. They're the thing that perpetuates and permeates every inch of IronVerse comics. They're the main antagonists, and they're also what every hero in IronVerse comics is fighting against or around. Every character, every being, every existence in IronVerse has, at least at Jack's time, Jack's present, quote unquote, 2076 and past. At that point, basically everything in IronVerse is ruled by one of those four aspects, or all four, or a couple, or some combination. They permeate everything. They're the driving force of the universe. The only thing that comes close is the Anu Confederacy, which is the only force in the galaxy that's able to withstand and fight against them, and they are basically a Warhammer 40k fascist, imperialistic organization. It's no bueno either, but it could be slightly better than any of the Four's hell worlds, or any of the existences they would force you to be in if you were born or captured or enslaved or bred to be in one of those Four's aspects. I'm just going to use the term aspect because it covers a lot. Famine, you could be a businessman, you could be a slave, you could be a cyborg soldier. There's a lot there. War, be a mutant, you could be a breeder, you could be a tactician. You know, there's a lot there that we start to imply in issue number 2 of Jack. We start to imply quite heavily. And I think we did it right. We'll see. We'll see. But I think I introduced folks right, and Cactus implies a little bit of it too. In both our books, we start from another gray area. We don't start in the Anu. We don't start as one of the Four's aspects. We start as an outlaw, as an outcast, as somebody who's not part of a civilization, but exists within some gray areas within some civilizations. Kind of the best I can do there. Hey, Star Storyteller. I don't know who you are, but I'm happy to see you. It's going to be about 2 minutes till you hear this, possibly. We've worked out. But I appreciate you being here. Stick around if you'd like. Take off if you'd like. Ask questions of myself and IronVerse Comics. I'm not sure how you found this, but thank you for showing up. You might not know anything about IronVerse Comics, and if so, I'm happy to introduce you. I'm the creator-writer of Jack Irons' first title under IronVerse Comics. And yeah, I'm just happy you're here. Thank you for showing up. Enjoy it or take off. No hard feelings if you take off. This is a very like I put in the titles, the makeshift edition. This isn't the normal quality I'd hoped for, and my normal quality that I'd hoped for isn't excellent either. But it was better than this. The delay wasn't so hard, but audio-wise, it was about the same. This is a room mic, though, and the other mic was a gaming mic, so the gaming mic was probably a little clearer. I don't know. I'm just having fun. All right. Well, Dusk Quill has a good question for me. It's a gaming question, which is actually a set of questions I can also answer pretty well. Does Jack play Minecraft or Fortnite? Well, Jack's universe fell shortly after. I guess it'd be shortly before the PlayStation 2. So neither. But if you had to pick one, I think he'd pick Minecraft because that has more of the engineering end to it, especially with redstone and that whole bit. I personally, I never got that far into Minecraft. I knew a lot of friends who actually learned coding through Minecraft and through redstone, so I found that really impressive. But I ain't one of them. The blocky atmosphere and such. I get headaches in some games, and Minecraft in particular is one of them. Fortnite I've had some fun with, but it's a little too cartoony for what would get me involved and deeply engrossed in a world. So at least for a shooter's world. But that's not true for everything. Like Borderlands is pretty cartoony, but it's also pretty mature, so that got me in. So yeah, I don't know. I would say Minecraft for Jack. For me, I would probably play Fortnite over Minecraft personally. Oh, nice. Thank you, Star Storyteller. I'm surprised Brett actually. Well, I'm not surprised Brett's out here supporting IronVerse. Not one bit, but. That somebody actually came from Brett. I appreciate it. Thank you. I don't know how how entertaining this will be, but there's a couple free comics from IronVerse Comics you can go check out. What I have open right now is our second manga. Well, not our second manga. It's our second title, which is a manga. Cactus Coyote. It's free to read. You're welcome to check it out at the link up here. Perhaps Duskquill will link you in chat. He doesn't have to. Yeah, it's a manga, right to left. There's Cactus Coyote. It's a shape-shifting alien trying to pay off his gambling debts in a universe of horrors, and some kind of a cyberpunk universe. And then our main, well, not our main title, but our first and most popular title so far is I'm gonna have to go to it real quick, but it's Jack Irons the Steel Cowboy. Not sure if this is gonna be useful. If you are. Maybe it's useful to somebody else who not, and maybe I'm just pandering to you. We're going to go ahead and go to Jack Irons. You can read our first issue, black and white, for free at this link. Get you an idea. It's not the fully edited, fully colored version, which is available on Comixology and Comic Central. Just look up Jack Irons Steel Cowboy. And yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on our books. And if you like them, please follow us on Twitter at cowboy_steel or at Coyote Cactus, Cactus with a K, on Twitter. And you can follow us here on YouTube too. I plan to do one of these drinking streams every Friday if I can, and I'm hoping to improve the quality again by next Friday. I had some computer troubles during this last week after the last live stream that is making this stream as it is, but I'm just glad it exists and I was able to pull it off. I didn't want to skip a week. Honestly, because I really enjoy venting into a mic about the work I love. I was really looking forward to it. Also, the drinking helps. I actually got one just sitting here. I'm actually going to drink only if I get another good question. But yeah, no, thank you for showing up. I love the Mythoverse. It's probably the other title and or other group of titles I'm most excited for under Wicked Publishing, and I'm really proud to have them under there, and I'm really looking forward to them getting funding. They're pulling it down to the wire, but they're right there, and I believe they can do it, and I hope they just blow right past it. Right on. Thank you, Duskquill. He first of Jack Irons, because that's cool. Right on. Thank you so much. There's lots of supporters within Comicsgate that are just outrageous, and I know why. Is because the mainstream is really ignoring their needs and wants, and a lot of indie creators are trying to do the opposite because we're part of that base too, and this is what we want. I know in particular Jack Irons is my dream comic. It's an amalgamation of all the themes and stuff I like. So I'm really happy to be able to put it out to the world, and I hope other people enjoy it. Cactus Coyote is another amalgamation of a lot of things I like, but the idea came from somebody else, and it's a lot of what he likes, and we like the same shit. So that's kind of how that happened. But yeah, I really appreciate that. I'm not anti-CG in any way. I'm just anti-label. You might come across that while any kind of discourse is going on within indie comics. I'm not Comicsgate, but I'm not anti-Comicsgate. I love readers. I love the comics industry. I love creating, and I want to keep doing so. I just want to deal with individuals, and I have to run it as I run it, and it's the correct way for me. And I hope readers can see that and don't mind. Let's see. Links to both Cactus. Yep, thank you, Duskquill. Those are exactly the links. Phase 2. Nice, Duskquill. I'm glad you're jumping into Phase 2 of Mythoverse. It is available on Tapas to read for free. I believe you might need to download the app. You might not need to. If you want to get the actual comics for download for wherever you want to read it, Jack is available on Comixology and Comic Central. I believe Comic Central is a DRM free download. I believe it's a PDF, so that makes it pretty easy. Comixology has panel-to-panel reading, but I'm not sure if it's DRM free or not. As for Cactus Coyote, you can either read it on Tapas, which it has some of the double-page spreads sideways, which kind of sucks, but that was the limitations of Tapas. Or you can go to our Patreon. You can look up IronVerse Comics Patreon in Google, and you'll probably find us right away. If you sign up for $1 or more, you'll get the Cactus Coyote DRM free HD PDF for myself. It might take a minute to get it to you, or you might have to message me, but I'll get it to you. And so that's the two ways to get those two titles. Issue number 2 of Jack next month, by the end of next month publicly, I hope. Beginning of next month to backers. I'm not sure if you're a backer or not. And yeah, we're working on it. We're a year into this thing, and I'm a little under a year. Under a year of production, over a year of promotion. I guess is how I define it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I hope you like our titles, and thank you for showing up. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot that you see what I was doing. You know, it's this. It's low quality venting with drinks, but damn it, it's IronVerse approved, so you're not gonna get that anywhere else. Cool, thank you, Duskquill, for throwing that there. That's the DRM free, I hope, Comic Central link. I'd have to talk to Wicked Publishing to confirm it's DRM free, but I don't believe they put that in there, so that's good. I'm not a big fan. I could vent on IP law for a while, but main point is I'm just happy anybody's enjoying Jack in whatever way they can get a hold of him. And if they enjoy him, I certainly hope they support further efforts in bringing his world and his universe to manifestation, to existence. Storyteller, if you have any questions, this is actually a drunken live stream AMA, so you can ask any questions you'd like, both about IronVerse Comics or just any questions of me. I'm a comic writer. I'm a Pet Resorts dog playgroup manager. I'm a member of a ballooning crew. I enjoy history. I enjoy movies. I enjoy TV. Any of those topics I'll probably have something to say about. Particularly comics, though. That's my biggest jump. I'm pretty good into manga, actually, too, now. I wasn't for a while, but I am now. Um, so please go ahead. That gives me something to talk about. Otherwise, don't feel obligated if you got nothing. If there's nothing to say, don't worry about it. Um, but I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy to have Dusk here and anybody else who shows up. Thank you. Yeah, the Comixology link is like 100 and some odd characters, Dusk. I don't blame you. You would have to actually run it through like one of the link shorteners to plug it. So don't worry. Just look up Comixology and Jack Irons the Steel Cowboy and you'll find it, folks. Dusk tried, though, and I appreciate it. Yes, you do, Star Storyteller. You get all my attention. Well, besides the alcohol. The alcohol gets a good part of it. I'm almost done with this bottle, so when I am, I'll probably be done with the stream. But yeah, no, you two do. Please take advantage of it. I appreciate the fact that I can do that. So if there's any way, any questions you want to ask about how this happened, the continuing process of it all, mistakes I've made, things I think I've done right. You know, I'm really passionate about working in comics. It keeps me going from day to day, and it really, I still haven't made money really off of comics. I've just put money in, and I still love it. I think there's a lot my team has to offer, and I think there's a certain magic to creating comics that isn't there in a lot of other mediums. I'm just happy people helped me participate in it again. Issue number one, I was lucky enough to participate. You know, I wrote it and such, but I was able to find a good artist and such. And the entry fee, I guess, is the point. The entry fee for issue number one was much lower. Let's just say it was feasible. The entry fee for issue two was nigh professional, so I'm happy we're able to deliver the professional results with issue two also. Oh, okay, Star Storyteller. All right. That's a great. That's solid. Glad you asked. How do you promote yourself before launching the comic? I can't 100% answer that honestly, because I had this right here, what you're looking at. I had this ready before I was really promoting the comic. So I had the comic before I was promoting it, and I had it free up. So I was a no name, but I could point people to my work. So at least if they had any interest in my pitch, they could follow through and then have interest in my work. If you're just a no name, unless you are really good at bringing hype, or you have a genius idea that just brings hype with it because the idea is magic, you have to work hard in involving yourself in conversations online between professionals, people working in the industry. Make friends. Interject yourself into conversations where you have something to say. Don't just do it to do it, but have something to say to add to the convo, and then get them interested in you as a person, and then show them your work. There's a lot of ways. There's not one path, and there never will be, and I thank God for that. I don't want there to be one path. There's infinite people, infinite versions of people. Each person's going to need their own pathway to success. But mine was that. It was finding people whom I had something to say to, and saying it in a respectful manner and in a way that engaged that person, so that I could maybe at least take a memory, create a neuron out of myself in their brain so they remember me. That's a large part of it. With Jack, I try... for about 3 or 4 years, after we had actually finished the book, I marketed it. I tried to sell it to Image. I tried to sell it to, a few others. Image was the biggest and the most memorable. But I tried it with a bunch of other small press publishers. Nobody wanted it. I ended up advertising on Reddit and then somebody read the free Jack Irons version I had and didn't like the lettering and redid the lettering for free because he loved the story and hated the lettering. You have to run your project as your project, and you have to have it as your soul. You have to adapt and have it work. Like life, you can't just stop the thing and it's not working right. You have to work through it. A lot of creators, unlike life, since you have the option of stopping it, they stop it when going gets real tough, or they don't get the feedback, or they don't get the engagement they want. They just say that it's not there. I've been working on Jack for, oh God, what is it, 12 years now? The comic didn't manifest till about 5 years ago, and I didn't get money for 2 till last year. It's work, but you have to believe and dream. Believe in your dream and have it happen. Do what you can to have it happen. A lot of it's luck. A lot of people can't have these things happen, but you certainly can't if you don't try, and you certainly can't if you set expectations and then let yourself feel defeated by not reaching them. Everybody's done this a first time. Everybody's, tried. So if you fail when you're trying, it's nothing new. Just keep trying. Let's see here. I hope that answered you a little bit, Star Storyteller. It's really hard. A lot of it comes to personality and just knowing naturally how to smooth. I got that from my mom. I got that a lot from my mom. How to deal with people. Because if I had just gotten it from my dad, I wouldn't be here. He's very quiet. But make yourself fun. People like fun. Engage. Have fun. Do it more than once. Especially when you're smaller, you can be excused for engaging in a single fan base. Make that fan base know who you are, and then engage what created that fan base, and make that fan base and what engaged it part of yours. It's always possible. Everything's possible. It's just really, it takes dedication, it takes work, and it takes luck. And only 2 of those are up to you. But you can do those 2 to your best, and that helps hedge your bets for that 3rd bit. Looks like Star's getting a drink. I'm going to take this one since I answered that question. Dustquill, you are correct. You cannot compete with alcohol, but you can certainly add to the exhilaration of the competition by actually being there. There's no competition without I'm not going to say that. It's pretty funny. But there's no competition without a second place. Oh, shit. But no, it's fun. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Just putting something down. It's like putting pen to paper. I'm glad I put pen to paper instead of just ignoring it, because it would have been a little clunkier than usual. And yeah, it's clunkier than usual. I will bring the hype as best I can, Star. I didn't just get that, but I am just commenting on it. Well, yeah, you're being helpful to me right now, Star. I really appreciate that. If there's more, I've written an article. Oh, God, I don't know if it's saved on this computer to bring it up for you folks. But I wrote an article about my impressions that were only about 5 months in of my campaign. There's a lot there I think creators can learn, if that's what you're going for. I don't know what your project is. I don't know how far and what you're trying to do, but the more magic that's put out there by people, the better this world will be. So I'm 100% in support of it, and I hope you do well, brother. Or sister. I don't know. Let me see. Dusk. My only concern is that my comic idea doesn't leave way for interesting social media mingling. Main 3 Mythoverse piece got their role-playing accounts, but I'm not sure any of my characters can pull that off. that doesn't, the role playing accounts seem to help. It doesn't. I think what it does, I think it helps the creator more than it helps promote the book. In all honesty, it helps you feel involved and it helps you get inside the head of your character. I wouldn't use it too much as promotion. I tried that. It's all right. It's not going to work long. People would rather deal with the creator. Personally, they'd rather know the name behind the character than deal with a silly parody of the character. Though dealing with a silly parody of the character exponentially grows in value as your fame does. I'll say that. But that's one way you can do it. I tried to take themes, objects, stories, history, creators, anything that had any similarity to what I was doing, and I'd find a way to intelligently engage myself in their topic and then include my version of that topic in there after introductions, after I've made my bet, politely. That's tough. And I've been doing it less and less lately because I not only have needed it less and less, but I've been focused more and more on the actual working end and not the marketing end. The marketing end, again, will come up when we're running our campaigns. You'll see that kick into gear again when Cactus Coyote hits. I'm going to be all over the place if I can be promoting that son of a bitch. I want that book out, and I want IronVerse Comics to have its second successful title. I very much do. The more we can do, the more footing I have, and the more confidence I can feel in sticking it to the mainstream and even sticking it to other indies, because some other indies aren't putting up where they should be, and I really wish they were. Yeah, you're abroad. I don't get to use that word enough. I believe now it's not PC, but it could be worse. I'm not sure its origins, the origins of the word broad, because broad is, broadside. It's a big flat area, so I don't know. I think it might be insulting the intelligence of women, but fuck if I know. We have a bookstore in town. It's the only one that also sells a few comics, actually. I was surprised. I was glad they do. Called Brodsky Bookshop. A Brodsky is a little bit better, I think. Puts the silly edge on it. But yeah, if we can get a lady in here, that's really impressive. Let's just say comics attract interesting ladies if it attracts them at all. So I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, Dusk has another thing to say here. Let me see. His only concern. Oh, I don't know if I did that. I don't know if I finished that role playing. That's the drink. There are other ways, I guess, was my main point, Duskquill. If role playing doesn't work, just try and find. You want to find the audience that already likes things similar to what you're doing. That's the only way you're going to get the correct audience fast enough. If you just try to shoot it out into the world, you're going to hit so many people who aren't interested in the general idea that you're just wasting your time. So the best way is to find the audience in the market that your book will actually take hold of. That's similar enough that there's enough people who will be like, huh, what's this? Because most people will be like, oh, that's just another product. There's infinite products on this world at this point almost. You really have to find a way to stand out, and one of the few ways is actually going to where somebody already stood out enough that you're close enough to in terms of your project. And but I don't know if that's always going to work. It's just how I went about it and thought about it. It doesn't mean I was successful at it either. I think I did all right. I'm doing better than some of the more popular and propped up indie publishers even, so I'm impressed at myself for getting that far, but I could get so much further so much faster, and I'm not sure how. Let's see here. Let me go further into your idea, because I think you did extrapolate, Duskquill. So let me see. Well, Duskquill, that idea of using manifestations of your fears and traumas to fight against monsters made from your deepest desires. Specifically, that's different, but it sounds similar to Wrath, which is being published by Wicked, where you manifest something from a trauma, some kind of physical form. Um, IronVerse comics, their four main villains are very much that concept, but taken more as the overall power. Like, from your idea, I think it's like if you had a hardcore fear, you would manifest that specific fear into a physical form, whereas death, war, is the overall concept, no matter who was thinking of it. I guess would be the difference. But that sounds interesting. To try and get creepy factors going and people wanting to have their eyes on the disturbing. The horror market is a whole thing. I don't know it very well. Actually, when I started promoting comics, the horror market was one of the few to embrace me. Believe it or not, I'm not doing a horror comic or anything, but the horror market's really open. They're way more open-minded to indie just overall than a lot of places, and so you've got that going for you. I would capitalize on that. I would very much look forward to seeing how you pull that off, Dusk. Yeah, Dusk. I'm not saying it's the same thing at all. I was just saying, it's a similar idea. It's not an uncommon idea. I believe JoJo's Bizarre Adventure also uses some physical manifestation of something to fight. And Blue Dragon was an Xbox 360 game I played the shit out of that had that kind of as an idea too. Their shadows fighting for them. It's a good idea. It's a good concept, and I'm confident people can come up with some very creative ways to leverage that concept and that idea. Um, oh, okay, cool. Right on, Star. I appreciate again. I do really appreciate you being here. I appreciate Dusk being here. Again, I'm just laying down a track basically for IronVerse Comics. Just putting out content so that there's content being put out. If you don't feed into the energy stalls out and dies. And the only thing that's keeping IronVerse Comics going is the energy. And I am not about to let that flame go out. so we're gonna keep hitting at it for a while. I think we have the rest of this year planned out so far, and if we can plan out this year and everything kind of goes even close to what we're thinking, then we have next year set too. And IronVerse Comics is here to stay. But we'll see. I'm glad we're still getting new people coming and looking at us. I'm still glad I'm able to attract two people to come and listen to my John and my talking and my bullshit while I'm drinking. It's a hell of a thing, indie comics, and I am unbelievably surprised I'm actually able to say I'm a part of it, let alone that I'm on my third issue of something coming out. Yeah, Persona I think is kind of like that too. I'm not familiar with Persona, but I know it's quite popular. And I know a little bit about Silent Hill, but again, I don't know too much. I'm not a horror guy myself. Like I like gore. I don't like evil. I don't like watching things like torture. I don't like watching that angle of violence. I don't like. I have a hard time getting through, and most horror movies are like that. There's a few that are exceptions, like the original Alien. I love. That's still technically a horror movie. It's still technically even a slasher flick, honestly. But like Freddy versus Freddy, the Freddy movies and Jason movies, I just they don't hook me. I find sadism for sadism's sake uninteresting and unappealing. But that doesn't mean it's wrong and for other people not to enjoy that. It's just I'm not much of a horror guy. I'll do horrific visuals, but usually adding to a sci-fi or action story. So yeah, I appreciate people who can write and exist in that theme in that world and universe. But I can't even watch it for too long. um, Semi extra dimensional play. Should I be thinking about other kinds of play? uh, Paradise is coming, and it's not what you expect. Yeah, I kind of know that idea too, where the light is more blinding than it is liberating. Let's say, I like that concept. It's a good concept, Dusk. Again, I look forward to seeing any kind of manifestations of indie art. I'm always impressed because everybody's got a voice. Everybody's got a right to share that voice, and not everybody has to like it. But I certainly want it to be out there, and I want to, especially around my sphere, I want to see it. I want to see what people are doing. I'm interested. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. I guess I'm going to take these other ones. Star or Dusk, please. You're welcome to ask any question about anything. I've had some very off-topic questions. I've been happy to elaborate on. I don't mind those. Questions about the books, questions about the direction, questions about how I do what I do. So far, anyway, only about a year in, so you are talking to a rookie, but a relatively successful rookie. So. I might have something to offer. If nothing else, I have words. Something to take up your time. All right, I'm gonna put that other one down. Let's go. Well, Dusk, what you're talking about sounds like an event. Comic events. I have a very interesting. I don't know. I think most people probably share my thoughts on this. They could be awesome if done correctly. They could be the number one thing. Civil War, the original Civil War, really stuck me into comics and into all of Marvel instead of just sticking to my Punisher and my Thor. It got me into all of it. It was already kind of, so it's not Doctor Strange especially, but in terms of wanting to see what's happening to a whole world and to all the characters, Civil War is what did it for me. It's hard to pull off a good event. Marvel's been trying to do them since Civil War. I don't even think there's been one that's come close. Blackest Night, probably my favorite DC event. Fucking amazing. But again, I can't think of another one that comes too close. And it would be tough. It would be tough. Especially in indie, where the fervor behind the characters and IP isn't decades old. But if it can be done, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I'm glad the Mythoverse is kind of interested in it. I'd love to see it. I want Wicked to go places. And any way that any of the other creators under Wicked could help that go, I'm all for it. All for it. How would a crossover between Jack and Coyote go? Or you got something planned for that? So the main plan involves a very One Piece-esque story in space after all our 5 main titles have done an arc. That's the main idea of our overall crossover. In fact, the 5 titles are building to this team book. Will this team book happen? I don't know. I really want it to. I really want it to. I think that's when we hit our stride. That's when I don't mind putting the IP out to other people. That's when I don't mind the entirety being shared. But I don't know if we'll get there anytime soon. As for a crossover Jack and Coyote, I'm hoping to get a nice pin-up piece done with the Cactus Coyote campaign. The problem with the Cactus Coyote manga is it's about 20 years after Jack Iron Steel Cowboy. Same thing with a couple of our other titles. They take place during or after. and so we got to release those first. The goal really is, though, a multiversal starship full of renegades who have earned their place trying to defeat these full horrors throughout the multiverse. It would go from a very Western tale to an almost Star Trek style episodic nature at that point. But who knows how far we can get? Who knows? We have it all planned. We have it laid down. We'll see if we can get there. Of course, Jack's the captain. If you guys need to know. But I want to get there, but we'll see if we get there. There's a lot more personal journeys to do before that, and if people enjoy them as much as I do, we'll get there. It's just going to take a few years. You're going to have to be patient. Refine my elevator pitch. I'm just a guy who got lucky. Star. No, my elevator pitch isn't that good. I think, here, I'll show you. This is the oldest one right here. Jack Iron's Steel Cowboy is a science fiction western set across history with a main character who is over 200 years old and has well over 2,000 years of past life memories. Cursed in a past life with a burden of immortality in his next, Jack struggles to find the peace that will forever be denied him. I like that pitch. It's way too long. It's way if you were actually pitching to a publisher, you need to hit what the hook is to the audience. You need to hit what the story is about, going to really the theme of the story, the heart, what the message is, and you have to hook them with yourself as a creator and what you're able to deliver. I didn't do that quite with Jack Irons. Jack Irons kind of lucked out. I believe I have revised that elevator pitch, but I need to bring up something else, which I guess is possible. Let me do that. I'll show you the Jack Irons. In particular, I think it's actually the IronVerse. Yeah, you guys might see a little bit of spoilers here, but that's what you get as being in these live streams. That's the one thing you get for staying here by yourselves. Nobody else gets these, not even our backers, sadly. Gets these previews. Oh, store any file. I'm going to go to Google Drives because I know what I am. Yeah, you guys will see like the amount of characters in my password and shit, possibly. I don't care. Maybe, if I have to sign in. You'll get to see the folder structure. It's going to be really easy. I think I just have to go into Team IronVerse Comics and then the press release. So I don't mind streaming that. It's not a biggie. No, it's certainly not going to open shipping info, I'll tell you. In fact, that folder and all those files gets completely fucking erased once we finish delivering all the books. Well, it's moving slow, folks. You're just going to have to deal with me while this is going. I want to show you my newer elevator pitch to see if that's any better. Yeah. Whoop! I typed a lot. So I gotta manage 2 keyboards at the moment too. So that was my bad. I was daring Woodkid Publishing to come on in and ask the question they asked on the thread on Twitter. Let's see if they come in. If not, I will indeed ask. Or I will indeed answer. I'm not going to ask. Come on, answer. It didn't go in. Yeah. You guys get a little bit of preview of the issue too right there. There's our logo for the cover. You don't get to see more of that. There's a couple of pages we were working on. Yeah, that's right. You get to see that. Let's see if this will get into here. Come on. You get to see all our titles on the work there. Ooh, big deal. It doesn't look like I did it in here. Did I not? I thought the press release. Maybe it's the Jack Irons press release. Find it. I'm just going to close this tab, folks. There's too many IronVerse secrets in here. There's too many. Completely ruin us. Yeah. We'll see. It's taking a minute to load. We'll see. I might actually open it on a different thing because I think trying to stream it is what's causing the issue here. Let's see. I thought it would have been on the opening of Team IronVerse Comics, but you never know. Could be in the promo stuff. Could be in promo stuff. I don't know. You don't know. Can't possibly know. But maybe you want to know. But you can't know. What's this say? No. Oh, man. I'm not 100% sure where I saved that file. Yep. Not 100% sure. I might go ahead and close it on the browser. Well, that bugs me. I have a revised pitch, Star, I swear. Just gonna have to believe me. No, it's here somewhere. I'm just 100% not sure where I saved it, and I don't want to spoil anything else unless I can find it easy. It doesn't look like it wants to let me find it easy, but maybe. That's me starting an article. That's not right. That ain't it. It doesn't look like it. It's weird. I know I saved it. I know I saved it. You'd think it'd be in the comics promo stuff. That's where it should be. But it's not. Well, that's the pitch I got for you. Refining it would be... At least it's not porn. I get back to your comments. Perfect. How did you refine your elevator pitch? Which is what I was trying to answer before I failed unsuccessfully. Well, I failed unsuccessfully means I succeeded. I failed successfully. I succeeded in failing on helping you refine an elevator pitch. No, mainly, really, you wanna hook whoever you're pitching it to on the character. You want to hook them on the world, and you want to hook them on the journey. If you can hit those three, you should be okay. I don't know if I hit those three in this one that I'm showing you right now. I think I might have came close to hitting it on the one I was looking for that I couldn't find. But yeah, at least it's not prawn. You're 100% right. No tentacle stuff for Cody here. I save that for my private time. You guys don't pay enough to see that. I actually do not have a stash. I find plenty of websites have enough of a stash for me. To be honest, and I find saving that unsavory. Too many problems caused. Visit it and delete your history if you got it. But with my drive, you don't have to worry about that. That drive was 100% IronVerse comics. Pretty boring, but you get up in there and there's quite a bit of quality and substance in there. In fact, you guys got to see the logo before a lot of other people there for issue 2. We had to adapt the logo and make it more kind of Western for the cover we used this time. Yeah, I'm super excited. Issue 2 is going to be a lot of fun to get out. Well, I've gone 2 hours now. I'm happy to continue. I did 4 hours last time. I don't know if anybody watches 4-hour live streams, but god damn it, IronVerse Comics will have them. If there's more interaction from you guys, I'm happy to stay. Otherwise, I'll probably call it here in a minute or two. Just because, well, I can finish the drinks at least on stream. So I guess I'll do that. I'll pour the last of it, which is a good double right there. And then I finished my Finlandia, which is good. You got to finish your Finn vodka. If you don't finish it, then don't buy Finnish. That's just that's obvious. But yeah, if you guys got it, got any questions? I am happy to. Any questions? That's the thing too. I'm happy to answer IronVerse or comics created questions. That's probably what I'll know best. But I'll answer any questions I have any feasibility of answering. Let me see, Duskwill. Well, with the rate things are going with the internet and the craze of the world, saving the prawn might become a civic duty. You aren't wrong, Duskwill. You really aren't wrong. Don't get me on. This is why I write. Duskwill. Don't get me started on society. Just read issue number 2. Just read issue number 2 and you'll see the dystopia I think we're heading for. But I don't know. I believe in people. I think we're gonna continue to do a few missteps that are on the scale. If you look at everything, you can qualify them as missteps. But if you look at them personally, they are atrocities and the worst things to ever happen. But I think we're going to go through a couple more of those before we get to a place where that isn't going to happen anymore. And I'm not looking forward to being part of any generation that has to deal with that. But I'm here. I'll see what life pertains, and I'm happy to throw some art existence way and see if it does anything. If anything, I hope we take a couple minutes of mundanity from readers and give them something they hadn't read before, at least. That's something special. That's a little bit of magic that comics can deliver that I hope we're utilizing correctly. Let's see. It's better for the character stuff. Yeah, I'll keep going if you guys got questions. It looks like you got questions, so I'm happy to keep going. Remember when you were on the Meeting of the Minds and timed out the limit YouTube allowed us to live stream? Yeah, that was fun. We thought it would finish. Well, okay. I'll take 100%. I'll take 100% blame for this. I thought the go-go would end. It said like 24 hours or whatever when I had planned it. So I thought it was going to end in 24 hours, but it ended up being more like 32 or something. But no, we started it at the end, and we thought it was going to end at like midnight or something, and we ended up going the full 8 hours with fucking Slick Jimmy of Little Girl Lethal fame and Dollar Bin of Dollar Bin Reviews fame fucking serenading me at the end with their gruff 8 hours of talking voices. It was, oh man, Jack has had a hell of a journey, and so many experiences I wouldn't trade for anything. But yeah, I remember that very well, Duskwell. It was a hell of a good time. There was some crazy kind of energy back then that I hope continues to permeate indie comics. But we can do it every time. Everybody could have that much fun. That was a ton of fun. We literally timed out YouTube's live stream. We went over 8 hours because of that. It was so cool. Oh man, it's been a hell of a journey. I love every minute of it. Yes, Star, please try out a pitch. I meant to answer that before I spoke because I know the delay. But yeah, no, please try out a pitch. I've been drinking, so you might get either very strong honesty or buttery words, but that'll be up to you to decide. But I'm happy to hear a pitch. I'm always happy. I don't know how useful it'll be with just little old me, but I'm happy to hear it at the very least. You never know. You never know. I don't. It's just hearing a pitch. It's just hearing a pitch. I'm gonna just say that. That's all it'll probably be. But I'm happy to comment too if you'd like. So go right ahead. Go right ahead. I'm gonna finish this bottle right now. About a third of a bottle during this live stream. It's not the strongest stuff though, so But I finished this Finnish vodka, so I'm happy. The bottle's fucking killer, man. You can kill somebody with this thing. It's so thick. Finlandia's vodka is so fucking thick. This bottle. It's a decent club. If you needed a club. I don't need a club though, so I don't know. I actually might turn it into a vase if I get that label off. It could be a pretty cool vase. Put a flower in there and call it a day. A lot accomplished that day. I will absolutely be honest. The problem, what I meant by buttery words is I would rather err on being a nice guy than being a dick. So I guess just keep that in mind is what I'd say. I will still be honest, but I will be very choosy. I'm a man who values word choice very, 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 very much. It's one of the most important things in human communication. If you choose the wrong words, it can cause the death of, thousands. Not on an individual case, won't fucking matter. But you know what I mean. Words have power. So I try to choose them very wisely. And yeah, Star. I'd love to hear your pitch. Please do. I'll be as honest as I can be. I'm sure Dusk will be too. There it goes. Ugh. Not the smoothest shit either. But I'm not much of a drinker either. I just do shots. I'm sure there's a way to mix that wouldn't matter at all. But ugh. And most of these bottles fucking leak when you freeze them. But vodka's so much better frozen. Such a sad tale. Leaky vodka and your freeze makes everything smell like alcohol. Don't enjoy that. Yeah, I guess I can talk about the civic duties there. No, I think America's going to be just fine in terms of that kind of censorship. We're a hell of a stubborn nation. I appreciate our stubbornness. But who knows? There's the world's a hell of a thing, and it'll always surprise you. But I think we'll be okay on the prawn area for a while. It's just too lucrative a business, and as long as we're a capitalist society, there'll be room for that, especially on the digital front. Unless we start doing that and go all China, I know we want to. I know we want to. Well, not we. I know they want to. That's a whole other thing I can go on for a while with, but not gonna do. I got shit to do that's more important to me, which is shilling Jack Irons the Steel Cowboy, Cactus Coyote, and all of IronVerse Comics, and Team IronVerse Comics. Danica goes back to the East European nation of her birth on a medical mission and gets caught up in the Gaines Nation Court intrigue. You're going to have to define what the Gaines Nation Court is. I'm unfamiliar. I don't follow a lot. I'd assume it's some kind of dummy trial or some kind of corrupt set of dealing with legality. In which case, yeah, that's intriguing, of course. But if you want brutal honesty, if that's it, that's very generic novel territory. If you're trying to do a comic book, you want to do something that is visually striking. Otherwise, just write a novel. And if you are just writing a novel, absolutely, that's a great premise. Please, continue on that premise. But if you're doing a comic, you want something more visually striking, and that is not limited by your concept per se. You would just have to really work hard to make it so with your concept, and that would be between you and your artist. But as a concept, it's a decent concept. Going through a dummy, you return home after whatever kind of origin, whatever made her leave. And then you're stuck with it, and you're trying to improve it, or you're trying to fight against it. That's a great concept. It would all be in the execution, though. Personally, if I was an editor taking this as a pitch, that's what I would say. I would say I'd want something more with more of a hook, as a comic. If you're pitching it as a novel, then there are plenty of publishers who specifically publish this kind of story, and that's it would be much easier to this pitch would be much more effective on those kind of editors and publishers. But yeah, Duskquill kind of hits it. I like that that there's this medicine angle. That's often not so explored. If you're going for comics, so I'm assuming you're going for comics, The medical industry could be a very interesting visual medium, and so could geopolitics. I just don't know how many comic readers are out there for a Tom Clancy or a Jason Bourne kind of story. Even James Bond isn't doing that well these days. But that doesn't mean at all that your execution can't rise above that. That's the thing. If you're trying to pitch to an editor to get money or to get published or something, then yeah, it's going to be a little bit harder with a. It's not a generic concept. I haven't heard it before, but it's not specific enough to hook my mind into like, ooh, that's interesting. Um, it's again, execution. You could do this idea very, very, very well, but getting it to the point of execution through a publisher with that specific pitch, I'd want to know more about who she is and what her journey is. Like, what kind of person is she growing to be? What does this experience do to her? What does this make her? What's she wrestling with this corruption? What's assailed against this combat medic? Because honestly, I really enjoy the idea of a combat medic as a main character. I really like that idea because combat medics, that's perspective in war. They're just dealing with all the shit, with all the people and the lives getting hurt. That isn't dealt with enough, and I'd love to see more of that. And even more so with a character who has that as part of their makeup, part of their soul. Then somehow contrasting that against this geopolitical corruption, that's very cool. I'm intrigued by that. But it would be 100% on the execution. And when an idea relies 100% on the execution, it's no less valuable. It's just harder to market. I guess that's where I'd leave that. Okay, now I'm going to read comments. I haven't been, so I'm sorry if I went on beyond what you wanted. Let me read here. Uh, an orphaned, adopted. Oh! See, that wasn't portrayed by the original pitch, too. So she's going back to her homeland of origin that she may not actually have a connection with. That adds another layer to it, which does help intrigue me. Duskquill's got the French in him going, huh? I got a little bit of French in me too, I believe. I don't think it's a high amount. The highest amount of blood is Spanish, but there's a high amount of just generic European in there too, which is Hungarian and English and French. And I'm an American, so my American blood is boiling whenever there isn't freedom. but I get what you're saying, Dusk. I totally do. And yeah, again, she's taken away or adopted out of her homeland, and she wants to come back and turn it into something more, something less tyrannical. That's a good story. It could be very well executed. I don't know how to pitch it. It's not conceptually. It's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Again, it would be on the execution, and I think you would have to win over whoever you were trying to convert to your cause with the execution. That story in itself doesn't have the hooks that somebody would look at and say, "Ooh, that's different. What is this?" That again, I want to emphasize that does not mean it has any less value. That it cannot pull off a story that's any less meaningful, that's any less powerful. But from a marketing standpoint, it is harder to market a generic story than a wackadoo story, specifically in comics. I don't know how books work. I know it's actually a much harder market. And I know comics are really hard, the book market is even more saturated, and so standing out is important. And having a story that doesn't feel generic might be important to that. But I wouldn't say, if this is your dream, if this is something you want to get out there, then there's something unique about it. There's something that's you as a person about it. Then you have to find a way to leverage that angle. What makes it unique? That story in itself is a good setup. It's a good concept. But I want to know what part of you is in it, because that's what's going to make it different, and that's what's going to be marketed. That's what you have to leverage, because every person is unique, every creator is unique, and if you don't try to leverage off of what's unique about you, you're not going to stand out, and you're going to, it's going to, unless you're really lucky, or something about your idea, something about it, even though it's generic, really resonates with people, you're going to have a harder time finding your audience. I don't know if I found an audience for Jack even, so this is just some random guy talking out his ass. So take it with a grain of salt. But that's how I see it. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if I'm wrong, but that's how I see it. I hope that's helpful. I hope that's helpful. Laughs in Madame Guillotine. Yes, I'm very proud of the French and their history of revolution. It's very awful. It's very brutal. It's very horrible. But there's something there that needs to be, and that's what I resonate with. Even with these current yellow vest protests, that's there. They haven't shut up about it for so long. It's because it resonates with something very true. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. I'm not a political commentator. I have my opinions, but I don't want to change the world. I want to let the world go on its path, because it knows better than I do what needs to happen, and I'm just happy to take part in those needs if I'm able to, especially in the arts and especially in comedy. He's similar to the Punisher, a king like the Punisher. Very interesting. Bringing up that name to me will always get interest. I basically hear because of the Punisher and Garth Ennis's Max run on the Punisher. So you always get my interest if you can bring up that word, that set of words, the Punisher. But that again. That's intriguing. Phrasing a pitch around that. In a monarchy that knows only vengeance, a single combat medic seeks to turn her homeworld back to the path of light. Something like that. Something like that, where it's you put forward the goals of the villain, you put forward the goals of the hero, and then you smash them together, because that's what most stories are. But you got to do that in the pitch, and that's very tough. I didn't do that. Woo! That don't make some noise. Sorry, folks. I have the computer I'm live streaming on elevated, and it slipped back from what I'm elevating, so that's what you heard. But yeah, you have to. I don't even know if the pitch I just put forward is any good. So I'm really having a hard time putting forward advice when I don't know if I'm any good myself. But those are my thoughts. I can only wish you all the best. And reiterate the fact that I want more art in existence than ever, always. That's that's my main thing, and it's not hard. I think humanity is going to do that by itself. I don't have to put forward. I don't have to put any energy into that. That's just the natural state of existence. Is that there's always going to be more art than there was before, unless we hit an edge where we kill everybody. But I think art and message and words and speaking is going to help avoid that very specific artless outcome. Oh boy. I almost wish I had more to drink because I am out and I am about there. I'm going to give another 5 minutes. How much did I drink? That is a very fair question. It's only about a third of a bottle of Finlandia. I want to say almost less than a third. Um, 3 doubles and a single. I want to say 3 doubles and a single. I could be wrong. And you know, chastise me justly for being wrong, but I think that's right. And I am happy. I don't know if yeah, boy, Star. I don't know if I was any help, especially with it being random drunken ramblings. But I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so. And I guess with that, I should probably start closing down. Um, no, that was a fair question to ask, Star. Oh, your problem is you're an artist who is a frustrated writer. I can't understand that because I am a terrible artist. So I gave up on that a while ago. If I had spent the time since Jack till now drawing, I might not be a terrible artist, but I have enough time trying to write. I have a hard enough time trying to write that also trying to draw, I don't think it would happen. Especially with my other work and everything else. I don't know if I could do that. So I appreciate that. You know, I appreciate folks who put that energy into themselves and are trying to grow outside of it. Frustrated writer. I think being a writer would be being in a constant state of frustration. So I would accept that right away. Time. Time is always going to be a barrier that is frustrating in front of you. Things take time to happen. Things take patience to happen. It's time's a hell of a thing. It's a gift and a burden. It's the most horrible thing we'll ever experience, and it's the only thing we'll ever experience, which also makes it the most wonderful thing we'll ever experience. So it's being frustrated is not only understandable but justifiable. But it doesn't get you anywhere. If that helps any, just fucking write. Just enjoy what you're doing. Put pen to page and do your best to get it out into the world, because the world needs every one of us to continue to be what it is, for good and for ill. But since it's all that we know, I think it's the ultimate good. So continuing to put into it isn't a bad thing. It's a wonderful thing. It's a unique thing, and I'm happy to be able to observe it and participate in it. You have a pitch. You dare come to me while I'm drinking with a pitch? You are a genius, Duskwell. That would be the time to come to me with a pitch. No, but really, it's a pitch for me? Okay. I'd love to hear it, just like Stars. But if this is specifically for me, just know that there will be extra time put on considering it. Even if I said yes now, I might wake up tomorrow and do the the Wicked Publishing live stream and have to officially denounce every effort you put forward because reasons. But no, seriously, I'm absolutely happy to hear it. All right, here we go. The realms of the living and the dead are separated by a flimsy barrier, a balance that can never be found. Every kingdom is in dire need of guardians and caretakers for the restless dead. The Crypt Guard, equal parts undertakers, guardsmen, and gravekeepers, are the only ways to ensure the dead remain resting and the world of the living remain untainted. Again. Well, not again. This is slightly different. In this case, I adore the world. I like the concept, but where's the person I'm journeying through? Where's whose story are we telling? Because telling a story of a world is very difficult. Telling a story of an individual journeying in a world is what most writers will do. And that's because that's what you can do. It's very hard to tell a story of a world. You'd have to be writing an alternate history book, and it would be very dry, and very few would be very interested unless your alternate history is some of the best storytelling ever. I like your world concept. I'm 100% on board on your world concept. I like that idea. It gives room for so many different characters to explore that world. But who are we journeying through? Whose tale are we learning, Dusk? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. For for whatever reasons, that's what would hook me. Who are we journeying through? Because I could explain the world of IronVerse comics all day, and we have 5 characters you're journeying through, and each one of them will show you a different perspective from that world. But that world's perspective is still there. But I would rather know which of those 5 I'm journeying through, because I have preferences. And I'd like to know kind of what path I'm taking. But yeah, besides that, it's an awesome overarching world concept. I like that idea. It could put a lot of weight to a world. If you're exploring the concept of death, if you're exploring the concept of mourning, dealing with death, of grievance, if you're dealing with even if you want to go high fantasy and there's a giant war going on behind this giant resurrected army and these keepers. That's really cool. But again, I need to know which path we're taking through this world. That would be my main thing to say to you, Dusk, is I want to know what path I'm taking. Because there's infinite paths in a world. I want to know which one I'm taking through yours. So it would be a specific group of crypt guard in a specific kingdom. It would be a man fascinated with the goddess of death, a vampiress seeking redemption, and a draken fulfilling a service. So you have 3 characters. You can absolutely put those into one story, one manga, one comic. I don't know what kind of medium you're looking to explore with this Dusk. I'm going to assume comics. With comics, I would choose one of those 3 and really go heavily into their experience within this world you're trying to build. And then I would expand to the other 2. But there's no. That's the wonderful thing about this. That's the magic. There's no set path. Take the path you want. I just want to know, as a reader, I would want to know, or as an editor, or I'd want to know which path I'm taking. It looks like I'm taking one of these 3. Is what you'd like? All 3 sound interesting. After that point, it would matter on the execution. What kind of tale you're telling me within this world and with these characters. I mean, that's obvious, I would assume, so I'm not putting anything forward that's actually really worth saying, but that's my thought. That's my thought. There's a stillborn boy blessed with life by the goddess of death. Does that also mean he grows up? And see, within that's very interesting. I like that story. I would like to see his story. So you'd have to sell me on his story within this universe you're trying to build. It's very, I won't say it's easy to build a universe, because it's not. But it's easy to want to build a universe and then put a bunch of characters in there that aren't fully realized, I guess is what I'd say. So I'd want to know the full realization of this character. What's the journey we're taking of the stillborn? Because that's a very cool concept. I like the idea that there's a stillborn that's resurrected. So is he technically undead? Or is he just life? And I'd want him to explore that idea. That's how I'd go about it. But I'm that kind of writer. I like the philosophical ideas that might translate very well to an action comic. We'll see with issue 2 of Jack. There's not too much action. Issue 3 of Jack has a lot of action. Issue 3 kicks that up a notch because I knew there wasn't enough in the first two. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But I do like that there's a resurrected baby as a protagonist. I think that's pretty cool. I would also want to make his parents something very unique that would never have wanted a child or had specifically manifested this child for a certain reason. And then it's fucking dead. But then they throw it away and it survived. You know, there's a lot of cool concepts like that could be explored. The world is interesting. I like that there's an idea of this the dead warring, quote unquote, with the living. That's a great concept. Thank God it's not a real one, but it's a great concept to explore. But I would want to know more about our vehicle to exploring that. So the stillborn seems to be the main character, if I'm reading you right, Duskquill. Yeah, I would. That would be my choice of main characters in the setup you've presented me. It's solid, Dusk. I don't know if it would, convince somebody at Image or somebody at Dark Horse or somebody at Antarctic Press. But I don't know. I haven't convinced somebody at Dark Horse, Image, or Antarctic Press. I have no idea what kind of line they take for pitches. Personally, I like that. If I was running some kind of comic publishing, again, I'd want to know more about this main character and what the actual A to Z journey of this character is. What's the goal for the series? Whether or not it's a mini series or an ongoing. If you're going for a single trade paperback, or if you're going for, again, an ongoing. It's difficult to tell. I don't have any more to drink though, guys, so I'm about as far as I'm gonna get there. Are we getting close? Oh, we're over the 30-minute mark right there. We're at 9:36 on mine, but 2 minutes later it'll be 9:38. But I guess I'll try and finish out the hour. Any more questions? Let me read Duskquill here. Him getting used to the fact that this world has such a weak barrier between life and death, when the dead arise for no reason, and the vampire nectar is trying. Yeah, no, that's very cool. I'm behind that. Now, like Star was asking, conveying that into a 2 to 4 sentence a pitch that actually hooks the editor, the publisher, whoever. I don't know how to convey that. I'm not even sure if I could. I like your world. I like the setup of your main character. I would want to read the execution on that main character in the first story, even if it was just up to a first issue. So that's good. You got me to the point where I want to read it. So that's good. You want to at least get that far. What you want to do with a pitch, though, is get them beyond that. You want them to just be like, oh, that's awesome, we'll sign you. I don't know how to get to that point. I just lucked out with Jack and Wicked, and I honestly, they're a small press, so I'm not going to see a bunch from it, but a start's a start. And I'm not sure how I got that start, so I can't really directly guide you to what I've seen successful, but I can guide you to what I think would be successful with myself. So that's not very helpful. But maybe it is. Maybe you can take something from it. I don't know. I would really try to pitch it on the idea of that main character and this world, because I like the world a lot that you pitched. That there's trouble between the world of the living and the dead. Humanity and me as a person can really look at that, because I have a connection to the dead. Most of us experience a loss in our life. It's very hard not to connect with that. But I'd want to connect with the character too. So I need some kind of bit there, some kind of hook, some kind of personality, some kind of journey. What about? I think you mean Alterna, not Alternia, but it doesn't really matter. Alterna is a wonderful publisher. I'm not. It doesn't have a single title that I'm excited about, which sucks. But that doesn't mean that there's not a single title among them that other people aren't excited about. And I'm happy to see Alterna's success. I really appreciate and respect Peter Simeti as a person and as a publisher. The shit he's dealt with in the comic industry and the shit he continues to deal with as an independent publisher is incredible. The fact that he soldiers on and continues to grow and increase what he's doing with everybody is not only admirable but respectable and so very it's the right way to do it. But yeah, there's not a single title under Alterna that I'm super excited about, and that's a problem. That's a problem. I don't know how he could change that. I don't know what kind of title would interest me, but I guess I'm a little interested in, like, it came out on a Wednesday, because that's an anthology. We're going to get tales. I'm actually pretty interested in that. But overall, there's not like Exilium and Eden and a few others. It's hard to get me to go ahead and subscribe or buy. But that doesn't mean they're bad. I just I don't know. I don't know where the hype is. That's what I want to see. I want to see the hype. I want to feel the hype. I want to be part of the hype. And there's no hype. Alterna does great titles at great prices, and you should absolutely support them. I'm still looking for the title under them that'll get me hooked to Alterna. If that's what you mean, Star, that's what I'm trying to put forward. I'm getting to a point where the liquor's making it harder to pay attention, but I'm trying. Let's see here. The stillborn was going to be a sacrifice because the goddess of death's deepest desires to be a mother, but instead she blesses him with new life. But when Dusk, when you're pitching to me when I'm drinking, remember, I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm going to go ahead and caveat that right away, Dusk. So you're going to get my honest opinion. And I'm sorry if you don't like it. If it was going to be sacrificed as part of her deepest desire to be a mother, why would she bless him with life? Why would that have been the original goal? She wants to be a mother, and she could bless this thing with life, so why wouldn't she have? That's the thing. Maybe it makes sense. But why was it going to be sacrificed? This is all, and all of this detail should be in the story, not the pitch. So how does this sacrifice serve the story? How will you pitch this to me in 2 to 4 sentences and get me to want to spend money to put it on paper and ink? If that's what you guys want. I don't know what you guys want. I'm just assuming that's kind of the opinion and thoughts you want. But if I'm wrong, please tell me. I'd love to just put it forward as, as a creator interested in the idea. I've tried to do both. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know what's going on. I'm just happy that this is still working. And I'm going to do another 20 minutes. So both those things. Happy it's still working. Happy I can do another 20 minutes. And I am so happy you guys are here. Thank you again. Thank you. So yeah, besides that, I don't know if I have much else to answer. If both of you are still here, I'm happy to answer more questions. Very much so, in fact. I'll thank you again. I know I just thanked you a minute ago, but yeah. It couldn't be possible for me to even put anything any voice to recording, any voice to binary, pen to paper, without any support. And at least got one, probably got two, and that's so cool. Thank you so much. This will be up for a while if anybody wants to hear it. I'm not sure the quality's what it is, but I'm happy I got to do it, even with what it is. And finishing this, I wish I had more, honestly, but I finished, so it is what it is. I finished the Finnish Finlandia vodka. I don't know if I like it better than Smirnoff. The last couple live streams were on Smirnoff. It was more expensive than Smirnoff, and the bottle is worth more than Smirnoff. Again, this is a very valid club. Finlandia produces a very valid glass club, but I don't find much use for a club in my daily life. So I don't know if the value's there. I might have preferred a save that $5. But it's not bad. It's not bad. It's a cheery enough drunk. Some aren't like that. So I don't know. There is more. Dustquill is done with the pitch. He's just kind of explaining that. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're enthusiastic about your idea. Not enough creators today are enthusiastic enough to communicate about it to the wider public, let alone actually try and pitch it. It looks like you have some kind of hook, Dusk, with why she decided to revive him and not just let him go. So I'm a little interested in that. Yeah, I'd say very much so. But again, the execution of the comic novel story would actually determine if I had even gotten that far to be interested or not. The kingdom believes stillborns and aborted children of God is began to do originally bring them to her. I don't know, Dustquill. It almost seems too complicated to explain to the average consumer, which would usually mean that, not that it doesn't have value, but that it would be hard to market to the average Joe Schmo. But I don't know. What the fuck do I know? Been here a year. Ask me in 20. If I'm still here in 20, then yeah, I'll have something to say that's worth a value. Until then, this is just some rookie hypothesizing on some things. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested with a stillborn, resurrected protagonist. That's interesting to me. I hadn't heard that before. I got a tiny little dot of shot I'm gonna finish, and then I'll give it another 14, and then call it a night. I think, even if we have more. I appreciate you folks for being here again. Anybody who's listened this far, I can't believe it with the quality I'm putting out. But thank you, IronVerse Comics. Thanks you. We are putting out some really good work, and I hope you folks not only recognize but decide to support it. And I don't know how many people see this, but again, I'm trying to keep this a weekly tradition, so you got to do it every time. Thank you so much for being here, and any last minute questions are appreciated. Both you, Dustquill, and you, Star Storyteller, thank you so much for being here. I honestly could not express how much it means to me, because talking into the mic and drinking by yourself is sad enough without company. And I appreciate it, and I hope you folks will check out our comics and continue to support them. It's something I really want to do. It's something our team is extremely talented at and should be able to do as a profession. And I hope to make that happen. You know, it's a pretty big dream for such a simple one. It's hard out there. It's really hard out there, and Thank you folks for being here. It makes it that much easier. Let me see comments. Uh, it's always better to cater to a niche than grow a dedicated fan base and grow from there. Ah, I'm not 100% on board with you, Dusk. I think you can have your cake and eat it too. I'm not 100% sure that'll happen for IronVerse Comics, but we certainly are trying to mid ground for people so that nobody feels isolated. It's it's tough. It's tough. I appreciate that. Don't drink it alone, dude. Yeah, well, life's a tough one, Star. Life's a tough one. Uh, you got to get through each evening and each day as best you can. Uh, I agree. I'm actually a big occultist and esoteric researcher, and I know the symbolic implications of drinking alone, let alone drinking alone, and continuing to do so again and again. And thank you. I guess that's where I'll leave that. Thank you for making sure I recognize that again. Uh, it's not right to drink alone. It's barely right to drink at all. You don't really need to poison yourself. But there's a looseness and there's a magic that can be cultivated through that I try to. But there may come a point where it's no longer magic and it is simply compensation. At that point, I would hope somebody would tell me so. I'm much of a hermit, so I don't get out too much. So drinking alone is much more common than actually just drinking with peers or drinking out. And yeah, that is not great. But who knows? The future will change. The future will continue to adapt to the new things that occur, and I'll try and do the same. I'm not looking forward to. Honestly, I don't know if I will drink every time with the IronVerse Comics AMA. I may not. I might try it with coffee. But the drinking keeps me loose enough to continue to speak over and over again. And so I'm going to use it now. I used it before. I'll use it next time. Who knows? But no, you are 100% correct. If you have the option and you have the choice, do not drink alone. Wine brings joy. There you go. There's actually some wine I could drink after I did finish this, but I think I'm probably done for the night. I just wanted to make sure I could get through through a live stream talking. It's a hell of a thing, I'll tell you. I'm I'm gonna try to keep continuing to grow this, and we'll see. We'll see. I know it's not the most fortifying thing to see a indie comic creator drinking and taking an AMA. It's also not the most unfortifying thing. It's. I was hoping I was putting forward a opportunity to engage. Was the main point, and engage in a silly way. So I'm hoping I succeed on that these last few. But at some point, it will no longer be necessary, and at that point, I hope I have the fortitude and the will to make sure it's no longer represented, not only necessary. But till then, this introvert is going to have to take a few to speak for a couple hours with you folks, no matter how much he loves you. Ask me in 20 is a good policy. I'm not 100%. I think you mean ask me in 20 minutes? In my case, I probably won't be around in 20 minutes. speak to the internet collective. But I'm very willing to try. I'm going to go for 7 more minutes, folks. If you got a last minute question, I'm here. Besides that, I want to thank everybody who shows up later, and specifically Star Storyteller and Duskquill Team for showing up. It means the world to me as a individual indie creator. It means the world to IronVerse Comics in terms of engagement and people just, wanting to know what's going on. Nobody had to be here, and I can't tell you how many live streams I bet go out with no viewers. But here I am. I got 2, and I'm very proud and happy to have them. IronVerse Comics, all kinds of ways to support us if you feel it's right and you feel you want to. We have our Patreon, which is monthly and helps me continue paying my internet and a couple other things I could say the money goes towards. It's not a whole bunch of money, but it really does help, and it means the world to me on Patreon. It helps fund the rest of the comics we're doing as well. We'll be running a few more crowdfunding campaigns. I hope you folks will show up for those. You don't have to. I just hope we earn the attention again and again. That's the goal. We're not owed any of it, but I'm hoping we can continue to earn it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's much else to say. It looks like you two are about headed out. We got 5 minutes. I'll probably end at that mark. Again, thank you two for showing up. I really appreciate it. No question, I'm I'm proud to be able to hear pitches out, for God's sakes. I hope I was helpful with anything I put forward. I have no clue if I was. I've never pitched to anybody successfully. I simply was able to earn somebody's publication. That's different than pitching. Pitching is an art itself, and I hope I put forward what would have connected to me. That doesn't mean it will connect to anybody else, but maybe that's helpful. Maybe it's not. Maybe you should not listen to me, and that also is helpful. Don't listen to the drunken comic writer. that you know what? Saying it out loud, I think that's correct. But even then, there's something to learn, I'd hope. And thank you guys. If you're not already following me on Twitter at cowboy_steel on Twitter. That's where I put out most of my information and engage the community the most. I love that site for that. There's a lot of BS that comes with that site because of hearsay and a lot of other bullshit. But the fact that I can directly talk to a customer or a fan or just a simple person who's like, hey, that kind of looks cool. That's mad. And I'm so proud to be able to take advantage of it and reach out. Same with this YouTube. Thank you so much for showing up, Star. You didn't have to after the Mythoverse. I'm really hoping the Mythoverse hits its goal. I believe it can, and honestly, I believe it will. But we'll see the next day or two. And you folks, stay awesome, man. Stay comic fans, even through all the BS that is part of comic fandom these days. You don't have to make it part of your life. You just have to enjoy the good bits if you like. And IronVerse Comics is trying to make that really easy for you to enjoy the good bits. And if we don't, please let me know. And with that, I guess I'm going to sign out. And love you all. Thank you so much for showing up, for dealing with the makeshift live stream. I know it's not the best quality it could be, but it happened, right? At least it's there, and you folks actually showed up to support it, and I can't believe it. Thank you so much, and take care, folks. I love you all. Best wishes on your dreams, and make them happen. Don't forget, don't let anybody stand in front of you. Make them happen. Those dreams might not only be creative. there's a lot more to life than just creating, and I hope everybody reaches those dreams.